Hello and welcome to Cousins Gymnasium here in Medford, Massachusetts for this NESCAC quarterfinal volleyball matchup between the Tufts University Jumbos and the Eves of Williams College. My name is Micah Baum. I am joined by Jake Fossey and Sebastian Gold to bring you this game over commentary. This is the last game to get underway, as the other three were underway at 3 p.m. Those have all finished at this point. Jake, you can give us some updates on how those games went.
Yeah, so around the NESCAC today, we've seen the Colby Mules, the 1 seed coming in the tournament, only 2 losses this season, but a very strong team. They held off the Connecticut College Camels in straight sets. The other 2 games were much more interesting, though. The Bowdoin Polar Bears, the 7th seed, went into Middlebury and took 2 sets off the board quickly. But the Panthers came back, reverse swept to make it through after a pretty big scare. On the other side, in Middletown, the Trinity Bantubs and the Wesleyan Cardinals went back and forth a bit, but ended up going to a 5th set as well, but Wesleyan would take that one out. So after this game tonight, if Tufts wins, they will take on the Panthers. If Williams wins, they will take on the Mules in Waterville, as the semifinals and finals will take place at the number 1 seed, which is Colby.
Just to clarify, if you're wondering why the bracket shows those things, but there's different results for different teams, the NESCAC does reseed after the quarterfinals, so the highest seed plays the lowest seed, and the other 2 teams will face off against each other. Speaking of facing off here, this is a very familiar matchup for the Tufts Jumbos in this time of the season, as for the last 4 postseasons, these 2 teams have met. Williams won the matchup last year 3-0, and Tufts took 3-0 wins the 2 times before that, so the trend would suggest that there will be a sweep today. However, some of the other games that have been between these 2 in the past couple years would suggest otherwise, Sebastian, especially this one earlier this year.
Yeah, so Williams and Tufts did take on each other this year on October 4th over in Williamstown, Massachusetts. We saw Tufts winning that matchup in 4 sets. Some star players we saw in that game. Claire Castor for Tufts achieved 12 kills, along with 11 for the star freshman Maywin Kamji, along with 6 blocks for Emma Heckman. Meanwhile, 23 assists for Rihanna Liu and 20 for Ellery Clark. That is her season high. That same game, on the Williams side, we saw 13 kills for Kelsey Campizano, who we're going to be seeing a lot of today, along with 11 kills for Annalise Fricke. In the past 6 matches these 2 teams have played, the Jumbos have taken 5 out of 6. So we'll see what type of momentum is going to be going on today. Is it going to be Williams, who took care of Tufts last year in the NESCAC tournament, or is it going to be Tufts, who took care of Williams earlier this season?
And let's rewind a bit to the player you mentioned early in that recap, Maywin Kamji, Jake. She has had a phenomenal breakout year.
Yeah, the first year has really filled that gap in the team that was left by Riley Farragher, senior last year. He was one of the top players on that Tufts team on the right side. And Maywin Kamji has come in flawlessly. She has been, from the out, a very strong member of this team, playing on that right side, really matching Emma Heckman for her ferocity of her hits, for the damage she can do from that right side, and makes it just always scary for opponents' teams, no matter where the Jumbos are in that 6-2 rotation. So far this season, she has had 2.14 kills per set, which is 3rd of the team. She leads the team in hit percentage and is 6th in the NESCAC with a very strong 0.296 percentage. And finally, she has 31 blocks, which has her 4th on the team. So she's really been a very strong player for the Jumbos this season, and we expect to see more from her. Additionally, she's a very talented singer, so hopefully we'll be blessed with her rendition of her Star Spangled Banner that she often performed before games today.
I truly hope so. But on the other side, another player you mentioned, Sebastian, for the Eves, Keely Campizano, was the leader in kills in that game. She could have another huge impact from the Eves right side tonight.
Yeah, for sure. We're looking to see what Campizano can put on. She currently stands with her kills at 3.0 per set and 246 in the season. That's 6th in the NESCAC. She is definitely Williams' leading attacking player. So in order for Williams to have a big night tonight, if they're going to come out in front, remember they are the underdog in this matchup, they're going to need a big night from Keely Campizano. She was able to achieve that earlier this year when Williams played Tufts, but even then it wasn't enough for Williams to win. So we'll see what type of performance Campizano can put forward from that outside hitter position.
Additionally, she is the current NESCAC Player of the Week from volleyball, putting up 20 kills against Amherst, her career high, and 19 kills against Hamilton. So she's certainly flying coming to this matchup.
Williams really are in form off of those last two victories against Amherst and Hamilton. But Jake, how can they translate that form into a very informed Tufts team tonight?
Yeah, certainly. They are on great form, as you mentioned. They have just defeated, in that big rivalry game against Amherst, they won 3-1, 4 sets. They lost the first set, but came back strong, win 3 in a row. Campuzano put up 20 kills, a career high for her. Sidra Woolwind, the libero, put up 33 digs, her career high. And then Dates, the setter, put up 46 assists, which is just remarkable. And that is a career high, but not the leading career high, because the night before, or the last game against Hamilton, she also put up 46 assists. That's absurd. So she's in excellent form right now, and expect great things from her. And so while those were really good games, they put up 1.75 more kills per game, kills per set than they have throughout the season. They put up 0.75 more service aces per game than they have per season in those games, alongside 15 service aces against Amherst. Very strong numbers there. And a 0.03 higher hitting percentage per game. That said, Hamilton and Amherst are tied for the worst teams in NESCAC alongside Bates. None of them are playing in this tournament, so while they're impressive numbers, they have to take it to a next level against a stronger team in Tufts tonight. Alongside that, one worry I have for the Eves this season is they lead the NESCAC in service errors. It's not a stat you really want to lead the NESCAC in, because that's really drags you down, because if you miss a point, you miss a serve, that's a free point for their team. And in a game that could be as tight as this one could be, those easy points you give up can really be the downfall of a team. So that'll be something to keep your eye on tonight. They had 8 service errors against Tufts last game, but Tufts also had 8 service errors. So if they can sort of keep balance with that, that'll be really good for the Eves tonight.
And pivoting back to the Jumbo, Sebastian, what do they need to make sure they nail tonight to get to that semifinal?
Well, the first thing I'm going to be looking for is Tufts big player Julia Griffiths, number 17. She is Tufts' leading blocker, and not only Tufts' leading blocker, she's the leading blocker in the entire NESCAC on the year. She is currently averaging 1.25 blocks per set. She has 84 in total. Now, Williams currently is giving up the most blocks of any team in the NESCAC per set, so they're the most susceptible to blocks. This means that I'm really going to be looking for Julia Griffiths to have a very, very big night, a lot of blocks from her, and that'll be key up right in front of the net. Now, I'm also interested in seeing what Tufts is looking like tonight, because their momentum recently has been trending positive. Now, earlier this year, Tufts was having some struggles in winning close sets. We saw this in games against tough opponents like Middlebury and Colby, where they were very competitive, but they would lose sets by scores like 25-22, 25-20, 25-21. But over their last 5 matches, Tufts is 7-2 in sets decided by less than 5 points. So that means that Tufts has really been able to win those close sets, and that'll be key if they want to make a run in this NESCAC tournament. Finally, we have not seen Tufts volleyball on the court in over a week. The last time they played was November 1st against Wesleyan. Tufts on the year is 4-1 after playing their first match in 6 days or more. So that would lead you to believe that rest and a lot of time to practice has been beneficial for the Tufts Jumbos this year. We'll see if that comes true tonight.
That will be certainly an interesting trend to keep an eye on ahead of this game. And as we wrap up our pregame show, I just want to throw it to you guys for predictions. Jake, I'm going to come to you first.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, last year, Jumbos won 3-2 in regular season, lost 0-3 in the playoffs. This year, they won 3-1 in regular season. But we know Williams can put out good pressure, put on a good game, but I just, like Sebastian mentioned, these Jumbos are in form. They're playing really well right now. I see this going straight sets. That said, Tufts are the only game left in the NESCAC so far, and so far the top seed has won every game. And I don't know about you, but I've seen enough NESCAC play to know that doesn't happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see an upset tonight, just because it's the NESCAC and upsets happen so frequently.
Sebastian?
Yeah, well, you said you're thinking an upset might happen. I don't have much confidence in an upset. I feel pretty solid about a Tufts victory. I'll give Williams a set. I'll say a 3-1 finish for Tufts. Again, I'm looking for a big night from Julia Griffiths. Emma Heckman, Maywin Kamji as always up front. And I don't think Williams is in the form right now that they need to be in for a win against a tough team like Tufts. And I think Tufts themselves are in that form. They've won 4 out of 5. And I just think tonight is going to be their night to get a nice victory.
I'm going to lean towards your line of thinking, Sebastian. I think a 3-1 is a solid bet. It's important to remember that due to the nature of the MPI ranking system, the team that loses tonight will most likely finish their season tonight. So we will have to keep an eye on that, but both teams will be playing it full of fire, and that will make this a fiery matchup and an interesting one to keep an eye on. We will get back to you in a couple minutes for the first serve. Stay with us.
So hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. So hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical.
Welcome back to Cousins Gymnasium as Maywin Kamji sings out the Star Spangled Banner for what may well be the last time of the season. Thankfully, we have at least 3 more seasons to come from her. We will have plenty of opportunities to hear that beautiful singing voice again. But as I said before, my name is Micah Baum. I'm joined by Jake Flossie and Sebastian Gold ahead of this NESCAC quarterfinal matchup between the Tufts Jumbos and the Williams College East. And ahead of this first set, Jake, I think one of the really interesting stat lines that we've seen across both of these teams is the importance of the first set in their matches.
Yes, that is true. The Jumbos and the Eafs are undefeated this season winning that first set. So the first set is going to be really crucial in this matchup. But as mentioned, the Eafs, in their last round, they lost the first set and still managed to win. So they're not immune to comebacks. Neither the Jumbos, they have dropped first sets before and come back to win. But the first set will be crucial in setting the tone for this matchup, setting how this game will play out, and it'll be really something to keep an eye on.
Definitely. As you mentioned, the Jumbos do have one comeback win on the year, but only one, and that is that Trinity game.
What a game that was.
It was a fantastic game. The only 5-set win for the Tufts this year. Williams have been a bit more average in terms of 5-setters this year. However, both teams will be hoping they don't have to test their mettle in that specific arena tonight, as 5-setters can be a grueling endeavor, as 4 other NESCAC teams have already found out tonight.
As you mentioned, though, 5-setters, they played a 5-setter here in Cousins Gymnasium last year, and that was a wild one as well. Back and forth as the Jumbos managed to pull that one out. So while the Jumbos haven't been as successful 5-setters this year, in this matchup, they have done quite well at 5 sets.
We've just had starting lineups read out. We will get those to you as soon as we can.
One thing to note for Jumbos fans is Matsushi is the only Jumbo in the libero jersey, which we saw against Wesleyan, we've seen in the past, but that means no Dylan Wisenett, no Becca De Poncia Pinheiro. Matsushi will be the starting libero for the Jumbos tonight.
Starting lineup is out. It will be for Tufts, Shi, Audette, Heckman, Griffiths, Castor, Apaibe, and Liu starting as a setter. Any initial thoughts, reactions to that lineup?
Nothing too different there, as this Jumbos team has really stuck with a similar lineup. The only real change that we've seen from earlier this season is Apaibe, but she's been playing quite a lot lately as Lena Chi has been recovering from injury. She is available to play today, or at least is dressed, but Apaibe has really taken advantage of her recent run in the team and has been playing quite well.
Yeah, we see Apaibe on the starting court for Tufts today. alongside the usual starting team. So Coach Cora Thompson is going to the normal team, the one she's used to. We'll see how that rotation goes on. As you mentioned, Jake, we don't see Dylan Wizen in the white libero shirt, which is pretty rare for Tufts this year. It has happened a few times, but generally that is something that Cora Thompson goes with. So she'll be sticking with the normal lineup with a few changes, particular in that libero area.
Meanwhile, for the Williams Eafs, it will be number 2, Morgan Dates, starting as a setter alongside Tatum Baker, Sidra Woolwind, number 19, Helen Chen, Keely Campizano, who we highlighted in pregame, and Annalise Fricke. It will be Morgan Dates who will serve first and get this final NESCAC quarterfinal underway. Here is Dates. Floated towards Shi. Liu. That one aimed towards Castor. Dates with the dig. That one a first attempt for Campizano, and Shi with a diving attempt to keep it alive. But that one couldn't be saved by Claire Castor or Julie Griffiths.
Campizano really showing that veteran knowledge. She's a sophomore, but she had a ton of playtime last year, and this time really just placing the ball very nicely over the Jumbo's block, making it really tough for Matsushi to do anything about it.
Dates with a much lower serve. Same result. Shi to Liu to Castor, straight off the block, and Helen Chen is having a good start as well.
And that was beautifully done over there. Number 19, Helen Chen, right in front of the net. Just finding that little zone. And Tufts has been caught off guard on both of these first 2 points, with just the balls going to places that they're not really able to capture them. So that gives the first 2 to Williams.
Dates to Heckman this time. Castor in the middle, and Shi finds the floor.
An interesting thing there is Emma Heckman is not normally in the serve receive, but there she gave a great pass. You don't expect your right side hitter to be in the situation where she's forced to make a pass, but excellent pass there, setting up Castor to hit off the X in the middle.
Now Castor is back to serve, one of the best servers on the team for the Jumbos. Dates' first setting action. Now her opposite number, Liu. Heckman off the block, and she'll get this game back level at 2.
Those are 2 very important contributions from Emma Heckman on that play. We saw there, it looked like a double block with both her and Julia Griffiths contributing, and then her with the kill off a Williams block to get the point.
That double block between Heckman and Griffiths has been lethal this season. Those 2 combining for the most blocks on the Jumbo side.
Can try for another one here. It took a deflection. Griffiths forced to just push that one over. Woolwind to Campizano, and that one cuts straight through the block of Griffiths and Audette.
It seems like a little bit of early jitters there for Julia Griffiths, as wasn't quite ready for the quick set that Rihanna Liu gave her, and the block wasn't quite tight enough between her and Audette. But we're sure, though, from the best block in the NESCAC, that will get sorted out as fast as possible.
Back now to serve Cami Israelski. That one as Chen just leaped up and took advantage of an opportune moment, as Liu thought that was coming down her side of the net. It was not.
Cami Israelski, one of the best servers in the NESCAC, let alone on this Williams team. She has been immense from by the service line, averaging more than half a service ace per set.
That one, a dipping one, dug by Audette. Takes a touch off the block, and Woolwind with the dig on the opposite end. Is Audette with a great leap to just shove that one down on the other side.
It's a nice little tip shot right there from Christina Audette, just knocking it right behind the Williams front line, but not too deep enough that the back line could get to it.
Now the first-year Matsushi to serve for the Jumbos. Had plenty of topspin on it, and that one goes straight down from Helen Chen. Another kill for her.
A really great set there from Morgan Dates, really setting up Chen with a back set. Great opportunity there for the middle hitter.
Chen with a very minimal wind-up serve. Castor receives. Heckman with the tip, kept alive by Campizano. Now across to Baker over the block. Liu aiming for Audette. That one takes a touch off of the block and off of Audette again. And Williams will claim the point.
That's Chi Obi and Keely Campizano there, who have been really strong at the blocking line. Chi Obi leads the team in blocks. Very talented blocker.
Castor with a not ideal pass, and Audette is going to have to send a free ball. There's Obi. This one's sent across to Baker. Tipped by the block. Audette to Lou. Appiibe rejected.
And we talked going into this game about the Jumbo's block, but this Williams block has been so strong coming out of the gates here. We've seen Chen, we've seen Campuzano, we've seen Baker, and Obi has just been phenomenal up until this point.
Chen is Audette with a unfortunate decision there. Thought that was floating out, but that one was well inside the corner.
And this looks reminiscent of the first matchup where a team took a really big early lead in the first set, but in that case, it was the Jumbos who took a massive, I believe, 8-3 lead as well. But their lead goes to an end as Chen finishes after getting a service ace, follows up with an error.
They'll be glad to get out of the rotation, will the Jumbos.
But to your point earlier, Jake, about the blocks, Williams in the year is only 9th in the NESCAC in blocks. They've been averaging 1.7 per set. They've already achieved that early on in this set here. So this is definitely a stronger, a more motivated Williams team that we're seeing tonight here at Cousins.
Low serve received by Campuzano. She's going to get it back and finds the floor with ease.
Jumbo's defense a little bit out of sorts there as they were all a little bit too far back. No one ready for the hit over the block. Ella Norris, though, with an excellent serve to start it off. She's really settled in nicely to her service role.
She had a couple early jitters early in the season with that, as Tatum Baker is going to take advantage of that one. No mistake.
Yeah. Great serve from Campuzano, and it forces a timeout from Coach Thompson off of that. Really struggle of a pass from Audette. So Jumbo's really out of sorts early. Just not something we tend to see from them, but they need to get themselves back in this game. And Coach Thompson knows how to manage a team. She's been in this role for, I believe, over 20 years and been so strong here. Expect her to really get the team fixed here. But it looks like it's just the team talking right now. Captains, veteran players like Christina Audette, like Alina Chi. Looks like Becca DePonte Pinero right now, really hyping the team up, getting them refocused. And since volleyball is such a big momentum game, really like stopping, arresting a slide before it gets too out of control is a really good idea. And getting their minutes back, getting their heads back, getting themselves back in this game.
Yeah, we're still far away from that 25-point number. Tufts definitely still has time to make something happen. I think that's why Cora Thompson called a timeout so early on in this set. Now, even though Tufts is down 6 points, they still have more than enough opportunity to get those points back and get themselves in. Because as we've mentioned many times, the first set has been so important this year for both the Williams Eves and the Tufts Jumbos. So Cora Thompson is not giving up on this set.
Certainly not early stages, but Williams already in the double digits. Keely Campuzano back to serve to make it more. Straight to Audette. Norris to Kamji in the middle, and it just goes wide. East bench is celebrating that one, but unfortunate from Kamji with their first involvement of the night.
Yeah, Gemma was trying to run the X play there, getting their right side hitters to hit from the middle, which can be very lethal. We see it a lot with Emma Heckman, but doesn't quite work out there for Maywin Kamji.
Appiibe this time, that one paints the line.
That's something the Tufts really needs right there. We've seen a lot of their kind of typical plays, you know, going for that big kill from Maywin Kamji, not really working out the way they liked it to. So they went to Ekpaibe there. She was able to hit a shot that just managed to stay in.
Jumbos do love those quicks to the middle.
Norris to Castor this time off the block. Norris keeps it alive. Now Castor with the wise tip. As the block had it come out so strong, they're already resorting to the tip.
Yeah, but it's working. And sometimes when the first approach doesn't work, when the first hit doesn't work, you try something else. You try a different technique. In that case, Claire Castor expertly finding it just over the block, making it really hard for the cover from Williams to pick it up.
That one sent well across for Baker, and she slams it home down the line.
And those line hits can be really tricky to cover, and that one just perfectly hit right on the line.
Williams leading Tufts 2-1 per point. 12-6 as Norris barely manages to keep that one without touching the net, but Appiibe couldn't do anything with the set.
So Norris was kind of facing the opposite direction of the net of the Williams players and sort of having to lean her body forward to stay away from the net and avoid a net violation. That made it so that it was sort of an awkward angle to get the ball over to Ekpaibe, who wasn't able to finish it off.
Norris goes behind her this time to Kamji, and again the block is there.
The Jumbo just cannot get the ball over the net. The Williams block has just been so strong tonight, which is not something we saw coming into this game, but they just have not allowed the Jumbos to get through at all.
And look at right there, that was Annalise Fricky with the block, who's not one of Williams' normal block leaders. So even their not normal block leaders are getting involved.
Norris to Apibe again, and Woolwyn can't keep it under control.
The Jumbo's doing what works. The quicks to Apibe have been quite strong. And while she does go back to serve now, so she will not be in the front row, Julie Griffiths also very adept at those quick hits, running those quick ones in the middle, creating issues. Because if you're getting blocked a lot, if you go so fast they can't react to it, that does work as well.
Just too much pace on that one from Apibe. This was floating, and it floated far.
Apibe goes out there to bring back in Matsushi, which means the libero is returning to the court. On those last few points with Shi off, we saw no libero.
Audette with a fantastic dive, the one hand to keep it in play. Williams trying to take advantage. Unable to do so immediately, and here's Castor. Norris couldn't quite replicate Audette's success.
And the Jumbos have also struggled. Yes, they're getting blocked a lot, but their cover on the blocks has not worked as successfully as they had hoped. In that case, Norris not ready for it, not able to get a good pass under it. Sure, it was off balance, but if the Jumbos are going to fight a block with this quality, they have to cover well.
Norris attempting the setter's dump, and Griffiths is going to clean it up.
Looks like Griffiths is a bit surprised there that even worked at all. It sort of was kind of almost like a little nonchalant push of the ball over, and it just happened to land in a good spot for Tufts there. Not necessarily what they expected, but they'll take it.
Heckman and Liu back in for Kamji and Norris.
Jumbos need a run here, and who else better to give it to them than their best server, Rihanna Liu.
Dates with her own attempted setter's dump and is executed to perfection.
We often see with setters, if one side does it, the other side wants to do it better. And in that case, Morgan Dates does it better. She does it excellently, placing it right in between the Jumbos block. They're not ready for it, and winning a point and her own serve.
Just like that, Williams are 8 points away from the first set. Tufts only with 8 points of their own on the board. Liu across to Heckman. The dig is a wild one. Tufts keep that one on their own side.
Heckman able to get on the board there with a very strong cross-court hit. Not normally hitting from her normal side, but the block on the outside for the Williams team, the right side of the Jumbos offense, has been lethal and really shutting down the main quarter of attack the Jumbos tend to use.
Woolwyn trying to set something up for Fricky. She with a pancake to keep it alive. Audette off the block again. Heckman playing setter to Audette. Dug by Baker. Fricky again, straight into the net. And she apologizes to her team.
And while the Jumbos won that point off of an excellent pancake from Matsushi, I question how it got to that point in the first place. On a down ball, you should be able to get there faster, but she able to make it there with an excellent play, keep the play alive, and allow for the Jumbos to get the point.
Castor, as there was a miscommunication there. Fricky, I think, thought it was going long, then decided at the last second to keep it on their own side, and couldn't do either in the end.
Yeah, those are the types of kind of miscommunications and poorly executed plays that Tufts was having issues with earlier in the set. But if Williams is doing that as well now, it'll be a lifeline for the Jumbos.
Another missed pass by Fricky. Cleaned up by Baker. Liu to Heckman in the middle. Woolwyn with a great reaction. And Chen can't get it past the block. And Tufts now on a 4-0 run.
That was Julia Griffiths and Christine Audette getting involved on the block there. As we mentioned, Griffiths is the leading NESCAC blocker, but Audette isn't always up there right in front of the net. We often see Emma Heckman as the joint blocker for Julia Griffiths, but a little bit different there, still worked.
Yeah, they really have to have Audette or Castor on that outside, blocking well against the right side hitters of qualities like Keely Campuzano, who's so strong from that right side. The Jumbos will be really happy to see who is serving right now, though. Claire Castor, who took a little bit to get started in the season in terms of service aces, but she has really picked off where she left off last year at this point. In conference play, she's averaging 0.5 service aces per set, 0.57, which is second in the conference in conference play. And she had 7 in a single game against Trinity, which was immense and leads the conference for most service aces in a single game. So she can really put up those high levels of service aces, but in a timeout, one of the goals of it, obviously to get your team back together, is to ice the server. And so it's not uncommon to see a service error after a timeout as well. So while she's a very strong server, she will be under a lot of pressure at this point.
Castor does lead the team with service aces this year ahead of Rihanna Liu. However, much higher service error count, more than double Liu's, as Castor has 32 service errors, Liu with just the 14. Very high risk, high rewards in terms of serving.
That said, Castor in that Wesleyan game put up more service errors than she had aces, but she had those errors after a stretch of 5 or 6 points in a row of getting points. So I would argue, even though they were errors, they were worth it for the team in the whole. She'll be able to put another string of points together here.
That one takes a dip off the net and unable to be kept alive there by Baker. That will be another service ace for her on the season.
A very lucky one, is using the net is a fickle friend, to say the least. Sometimes it bounces on your side, sometimes it gets you an ace. Castor will be happy to see it land on the Eve side.
Baker had to send that one over with the first touch. She sending that one for Heckman. She tries to just push that one into the gap. Williams are wise. Liu behind her to Heckman, and no mistake there. Slams it down.
That's the classic Tufts partnership right there. We saw Rihanna Liu, Tufts leading assister, with just a beautifully done set right into the hands of Emma Heckman, Tufts leader in terms of kills, who was able to shoot one to the far opposite side of the court, take care of business.
If you give Heckman a chance like that, she will slam it down the line like she did.
Again, the block doing wonders almost, but that just took a touch out, I believe. Williams will get the serve back on their side.
Unfortunate for the Jumbos, but they did just have a 6-point streak to bring themselves really back into this set when it looked, to be honest, a bit dire and a bit too far for them. But now it's only a 4-point deficit, so good chances for the Jumbos here.
Liu pushes that one all the way across for Audette. Fantastic hit.
An excellent cross-court hit there from Christina Audette. And the Williams block has really seemingly lost some of its oomph at this point. And one possible reason for that is, of note, Morgan Dates is in the front row now, and in a 5-1 system, you have your setter blocking in the front row, which she's a very talented player, but she doesn't have the height of some of her Williams teammates.
She will be the perpetrator of a reach, I believe.
It was a plane violation, actually, going over the net, trying to set the ball over, but didn't quite work out for her.
The East lead drops to 2. Matsushi. Woolwind to Dates. Campizano finds the gap almost, but again, she with a fantastic pancake. Dates behind her again to Campizano, straight into Liu. Audette this time off the block. Liu to Audette again. The tip is red. Campizano. Fantastic volleyball there, but Castor just couldn't keep that down.
The Jumbo's defense was playing excellently up to that point, and I don't know if Castor could have done much more on that one. But it's a really good sign for the Jumbos if their defense can get going. They struggled in that first run of points, but if we're seeing digs like the ones we saw from Liu, from Shi, really good sign for the Jumbos going forward.
Now Chiobi back in the game for the Eves as Dates re-enters the back row. Baker tries to send that one, only finds Shi. Liu, Audette has been the target of plenty of sets recently. Campizano in that one. They're trying to keep it alive. They took a touch off the net, so they get that one extra. Dates, Campizano, and there that time she finds the floor.
And that is how you capitalize on a free ball. One of the freest of free balls. Very easy for Chiobi to get a great pass off of it. And then Campizano puts it away with force, allowing them to run really a strong play.
Now, even though Williams won the point there, it's worth noting that, as you were mentioning before, with regard
Jumbos at this point brought the lead down to 4 points. They're really getting themselves back into this game, but stretch of 2 points to the Eves puts them within 5 of winning the game. So Coach Thompson hoping for this time out to have as much impact as her last one did, allowing the team to get themselves back into this game.
Also, for viewers at home, we've mentioned the pancake play a few times. We've seen that executed very nicely by Matsushi on the Tufts side. That is basically where a ball that otherwise you would have no chance of getting to is coming towards you, and you basically put your hand out on the floor itself and allow the ball to hit the top of your hand as opposed to the palm like it normally would. That way, for a viewer, it might look like the ball is hitting the wood, but in fact, it's actually hitting your hand, and you can keep the ball in play. Again, we saw 2 of those from Matsushita in that set.
It's a very challenging technique, and Matsushita has made it look easy so far this set, having 2 of them, which normally it's a treat to see 1 in a match, but we've already seen 2 in this set. So really excellent work from the first-year libero.
She'll be thinking that was pretty sweet, maybe a chocolate chip pancake.
Helen Chen serving, who in this rotation means there's no libero on the court for the Eves.
Heckman. Chen, as that one was an unruly pass that Baker couldn't keep under control.
And that's where you don't expect your middle blocker, as mentioned, to be making that. That's where you want your libero, you want your whirlwind. So can't blame too much Chen in that situation, just one that she's not really prepared for.
Now Norris back into the game as setter for the Jumbos. It's a low serve that Obi manages to keep alive after the tip off the net. Caster. Kamji. There's that power we've seen all year.
And another excellent capitalization off of a free ball. This time the Jumbos with a free ball based off of Norris's very tricky serve. And Maywin Kamji, if you give her that opportunity, she's going to put that away every single time.
Norris with the serve again. Dug by Woolwind. Campizano. And Kamji couldn't keep that one in the breadbasket of her hands there.
Kamji's definitely most effective being able to work off the set when she's in that far right side position, get that cross-court shot like she did before. When she was the first touch of the ball after it came across the net like it was just now, she was caught a little off guard, a little bit off balance, and was unable to provide the right pass to the setter that she would have looked for.
And interesting there, Emma Norman is subbed in for the Jumbos.
Appy Ibe trying to get another kill on the board, but blocked again at the net by Chiobi.
An interesting note about the Norman substitution, Coach Thompson has, Christina Audette is a very, very good defender and a pretty strong hitter, but sometimes Coach Thompson opts for a little bit more oomph in the hits, and we'll sub Norman on for that.
Hasn't quite paid off as the defense has somewhat degenerated here, as now the Eves are within 2 points of the first set.
It's an excellent serve there from Keely Campuzano.
Into Caster again. She, for Kamji, badly misjudged that one.
That's a hard one, though. She's hitting on her offside. I think she was hitting with her off hand as well, her weak side. And up in the air, she's normally right side here, hitting from the outside, unable to pull it off as the Eves move to set point.
She, to Caster from the backcourt. Dug by Campizano, but it's going to go wide of the antenna.
A very interesting hit from Caster there, going very, very flat. But I think that made it very challenging for Campizano, as it's just a really hard hit to save. As Audette will check back in, as Norman would be going to the back row. Audette to serve. One of the best defenders on this Jumbos team, second highest receive percentage behind Claire Caster, who's also a very strong defender.
Audette's first action will be a serve. This one set across to Baker. What a huge block there from Kamji and Appy Ibe. Tufts survive another one.
You notice right now, we actually haven't seen Julia Griffiths on the court in several points. It's been a lot of Akbe Ibe and Kamji up in front getting those blocks. Because Akbe Ibe and Kamji don't have the height of Griffiths, sometimes they're not able to get the blocks that Griffiths otherwise would have, but right there, Kamji was successful.
I say Kamji has plenty of height on her own, but didn't help her there as Williams get the point to send themselves into the second set, 1 set in the lead. We will be back in a couple minutes to bring you that second set. Stay with us. Welcome back to Cousins Gymnasium as the Williams Eves have taken a one-set lead. They are 9-0 this year when taking the first set. Jake, what does Tufts need to do to get back into this game?
The Jumbos so far have really struggled when dealing with the blocks, when covering the blocks and things like that. So they need to really get those covers fixed, make it so they can avoid that. But the other thing, just to notice, 9 attack errors from the Jumbos. This is something that they've struggled with all season. They lead the NESCAC in attack errors, and if they're putting 9, that's almost a third of the points that they need. That's more than a third, I believe, of the points that Williams scored were attack errors from the Jumbos. So
good math.
Yeah, sorry, it's been a little bit. So that needs to stop. They need to lower those. They need to reduce those errors if they want to get this in, because you can't give away free points to a team of the quality we're seeing of Williams so far.
And on the other side, Sebastian, what have Williams been doing so well to keep this one at arm's length from the Jumbos?
Well, I think with Williams, it's been very clear. It's something we haven't seen from them very much up until this point in the season. It's been that blocking game up front. We've seen several different Williams players get involved, and that's really...
It's been big. It's Fricky sending that one over as Griffiths trying to get her first kill. Actually, maybe second. She tried to acrobatically keep it in. Castor almost did the job for her. That looked almost painful as she arched her back entirely to try and keep that one in play.
As you're mentioning, Sebastian, the Eves have done very well from the blocks. They've had 7 blocks already in this game, which is just immense. It makes it really hard for the Jumbos to get anything going if they're being blocked at the rate that they are.
Israelski with the serve. Lou Griffiths on the slide. Gets them back on 1.
Griffiths really able to get around that, which is the key on the slide. Because if you aren't able to get around it, you're going to hit it out of bounds. But she gets her body around it, gets it across the court, and makes it really challenging for the Williams block. And if you want to break a block that's been this strong, you have to run those trick plays. You have to run different things to really throw them off. So, smart play.
Done the X a couple times, but working the slide that time. Here's Castor. Straight into the arms of Woolwind. Campuzano, did that take a touch off the block? It did.
So on that play, the Jumbos ended up out of rotation a little bit right there with Matsushita, the libero, doing the setting. That ended up giving the ball over to Claire Castor, who wasn't able to get one of her signature, more slamming shots down, and that's what ended up giving Williams the edge on that point.
Castor that time with a fantastic kill of her own.
Gets one of those typical slamming shots of hers, really puts it away well, and able to send it right in that back corner. She hasn't had the production we normally see from her so far this game, but getting on the board well there with that kill. That's her 3rd of the night.
It's a dipping serve from She. Received well, though, and Baker sends it over. Dug by Audette. Castor running onto it. Baker's there. That time is Campuzano again. She has been having such a great night, as she has so often this season.
That is her 9th kill of the night, and Chief Piersby just picking up where she left off with those 20 and 19 kill nights those in her last 2 matchups. Just to note, she needs 2 more kills to reach 500 career kills. And she'll get an ace right here.
As you say, Castor, one of the best receivers on the team normally, but so much pace on that one, couldn't keep it under control.
Yeah, she is the most targeted and best receiver of the Jumbo's defense, but when a serve of that quality hits you in the direction that it did, makes it really challenging for her.
That serve, not quite the same quality. The ball goes back over to the Jumbo side.
Despite the service error right there, as you mentioned in the open, a lot of what matters for Williams is basically, can Keely Campuzano have a big night? Because if she does, she gets her kills as usual, Williams is generally more successful, and I think that's a big part of why Williams is leading this match so far.
Norris she gets a huge let-off there. That serve was well wide, but Campuzano had stepped out of bounds, and it took a touch off her foot.
That is the 2nd lucky foot Ella Norris has had in her last 2 games. Last game, for those who remember, she made a miraculous kick to keep the ball in play. This time, going off of the foot of Keely Campuzano. So Norris maybe should try some soccer at some point. Really enjoying the feet side of volleyball.
Norris hoping for a more controlled serve this time. She's going to get it, as again it just took a touch off of the defender, and Williams could not communicate to keep that one in play.
Williams are hiding Campuzano back there behind Woolwind, and it's Norris sees that and is aiming for it because it is a little bit hard to communicate there.
Woolwind does her best with that one. Obi tries to tip it over. Norris lines that one up for Caster. Good dig by Israelski. Across to Baker. Norris to Caster again, and again it takes a touch off Campuzano.
Yeah, Campuzano's been, even though that's kind of her normal side, the far side, opposite side of the court over there, she's looked a little bit out of place over these past couple of plays with a lot of balls coming towards her and ended up just going the wrong direction to her right and behind her rather than to her left.
They go towards that direction again, and again, fantastic placement on that serve by Ella Norris.
Ella Norris has gone toward that side where they're hiding Campuzano every time, and her serves are so straight and so difficult to judge when it's going down, and that time misjudged a bit by the Eve's defense. And yet again, this time a communication error. I wonder if we're going to see a timeout just to resolve what's going on in that hiding of Campuzano.
Indeed we will.
Coach Kelsey calling a timeout to really fix this defense as they've just really struggled to receive the serve of Ella Norris.
Now, as we talked about earlier, volleyball is such a momentum-based game. And when Tufts grabbed their 5th point of this set to put them ahead 5-4, that was their first lead of the entire match so far tonight. They did not get in front once in the first set. But now, with them up what was 5-4, they've gone on this nice run, and they have now a very solid 5-point lead, which puts them in the driver's seat for a good remainder of this match.
So it's very reminiscent. At 8-3, the Williams team had a lead in the first set. Now it's 9-4 for the Jumbos in the second set.
And 10-4 was for the Williams Eves as well.
True. So can the Jumbos hold on to the lead like the Eves did in that first set? They did let it slip a bit, but managed to pull it out. Can the Jumbos do the same?
The first set, it was Helen Chen who went on the serving run for the Eves. This time, Ella Norris has been the sometimes lucky, sometimes brilliant server at the heart of this Jumbos run.
Norris has really settled into being a very strong server in this latter half of the season and looks to continue that here.
That one finds Israelski. Baker, and the timeout has the intended effect.
That was a very, very tight call there. I think it was just barely on the line, so the judges were able to call that in, but very tight. But great line shot there from the Eves.
Baker is now back to serve into Caster. Norris, that one was a bit misjudged, aiming for Chi, and that one was roofed by the Williams defenders.
Yeah, that was just a very seamless block done there by Annalise Fricke, and it looked like another Williams player up front too. The ball barely took any height coming away from Tufts, and they were able to take care of it.
Caster this time, again it takes a touch off the block, and it just about stays in bounds, as now they're looking to go on a run of their own.
Jumbo's just unable to get a stretch of points here to establish themselves further in this game, as Tatum Baker has done excellent from the service line.
Again to Audette. Norris looking for Kamji this time in the middle, and she just about managed to improvise that one into a kill.
It was deft from Maywin Kamji. Swinging back, but the set wasn't quite where she was looking for it, so she was forced to adapt, but just rolled it over the net, just slightly working perfectly for the first year right side. Alina Chi is on the court for the Jumbos at this point instead of, I believe, Griffiths.
That was Obi trying to come in there and slam it home, but the slamming there was done by the Tufts block.
Welcome back, Alina Chi. Excellent block there from the only senior on this Jumbo side. She'd been out with injury for a little bit, but great to see her back in the team. Veteran presence.
Caster now to serve. Dates looking for Fricke, and again the block is impeccable.
So bringing on Alina Chi, one of Tufts' strongest defensive players, it looked like a little bit of an effort from Coach Thompson to rival the Williams defensive gang, and it's been working flawlessly so far.
You mentioned Griffiths in the pregame. She had an okay first set, but nothing to write home about, as that time it's Obi who, as we say, has been the one to write home about in terms of middle blockers in this game.
And going in this game, my big matchup I was watching was the right side battle. Kamji and Heckman versus Campuzano. But the middle ball battle in this second set has really blown up, as we've seen both sides' middles play excellently.
Audette manages to send the one over. Campuzano returns the favor, and Ella Norris can't keep it up.
And Norris was coming down there. It looked like she was struggling to decide whether she was just going to try to throw one up in the air for someone else on the Tufts side to deal with. Instead, the ball just kind of came at a sort of parallel to the ground and was not useful for any Tufts player.
Unfortunate pass there from Castor. Williams trying to capitalize, but they cannot do so. Tufts maintain their lead, now by 4.
Well, the Jumbos got that point there, but let's go back to that serve from Sidra Woolwind. A rocket, and not much Claire Castor could really do. She was lucky to keep that in bounds, but a very powerful serve from the senior libero.
Alina Chi's first serve of the night, and again, miscommunication or self-miscommunication as Baker couldn't quite decide what to do with it.
Just an update, Alina Chi has checked in for Appy eBay, not Julie Griffiths. Griffiths back on the court now. The NESCAC leading blocker will continue her night.
Fricke keeps it in play. Dates just pokes it over. Audette with her own poke. And enough of that, says Helen Chen. Kamji can't control it.
Matsushi now subbing in. That is Alina Chi going out. So we're going back to the more traditional rotation with the libero.
Makes sense. After Chi finishes her serves, they send the libero, and Matsushi, a very strong defender.
Audette's pass is not ideal. Cora Thompson is upset that she had to move, but more upset that that was the pass that she had to move away from.
Yeah, back to 3 points here for the Eves. They're looking to get themselves back in the game. Dates a very strong server, hoping to add to her tally tonight.
Into Castor. Norris with an acrobatic set, trying to get to Kamji. Fantastic dig by Shi. Audette again off the block. Kamji and Audette managed to force it over. Chen that time. Lined up for Kamji. She finds the floor.
And the Jumbos won a very scrappy point. But as Jordan Burke, one of the great commentators of JumboCast, says, scrappy volleyball wins games. And sometimes you're in a situation where you can't necessarily get something to work well, but sometimes it's an over-the-back punch from Christina Audette to send it over the net. But in that case, you'll take what you can get for the Jumbos as they start to lead back up to 4.
Rihanna Liu finally back on the court as El Norris had plenty of time. That one, though, Fricke ends their serving run where it starts.
Excellent kill there from Annalise Fricke. Slams it down. And the Jumbos sending in Keller Mobley this time for Christina Audette, another attacking player who's been very strong, but hasn't had that much play time. But in her last game, she put up crucial 4 kills in the final 8 points of that Wesleyan match. And she'll be looking to add another crucial boost to the Jumbos here.
It's called upon much earlier this time. It's back for the Eves is Israelski. Dug by Shi. Liu setting that one to Mobley. Has to just palm it over. Chen is blocked, but couldn't get enough directionality on it, and it falls on the Jumbo side.
So confusion there from the Jumbos as they thought that was going over. Mobley stepped back to get into a more defensive position, but doesn't quite work out as Coach Thompson forced to call a timeout as their lead has shrunk to 2. Eves have really picked things up in this second part here, able to evade those blocks, and the Jumbos have still had those errors come up every once in a while, which have plagued them. Not quite as weak as the first set, only 2 attack errors in this second set, but when it matters, they've still struggled to really get over the line.
One thing we highlighted in pregame was the service error battles. As you said, last game it was 8 for each team. We're only sitting at 3 right now, which is about on pace for that, but it could easily have been more without Eleanor's startling good luck at some points.
Jumbo's on 7 aces, though. Very strong number for them. A lot of them in this set, from Eleanor specifically.
That 7 aces number is very notable because we haven't seen in this second set as much Rihanna Liu as we have in many other sets this season. And as we mentioned many times, Rihanna Liu is the Tufts leader in terms of service aces. She's arguably their #1 favored preferred server. So if they're able to put up high numbers of service aces without even having to rely heavily on Rihanna Liu, that is a very good sign for the Tufts serving game.
I would argue, though, their other preferred server, Claire Castor, also doing very well. Put up two aces tonight. So they've had productions from other areas. Ellen Norris, remarkable 4 aces in this game so far. So the Jumbos, like you said, have had really good production from their other strong servers.
Exactly.
Israelski, that one finds Mobley. She has to back up to get that one over. Full wind. To Campizano, and it's just long, was it? They're going to say it took a touch, and that will be Campizano's 500th career kill.
Looked like it took a touch off Castor back there, trying to get out of the way of the ball. She doesn't think it hit her, but that is what the refs are saying.
Cami Israelski, one of the strongest servers in this game, sends another one over.
Heckman winds up. You just can't keep that one in play when it's coming at you like that.
I think that was more a safety move from Morgan Dates rather than an attempt to play the ball, because when Emma Heckman hits at you, I feel like your only option is to hide, to cower, because those hits are so powerful.
Mobley now behind the line. Dates to Campizano. Is kept alive by Lou. Now Campizano has a second bite. And she gets it off the block, will bounce out.
Interesting to know how Thompson has been sticking with Mobley for several points here on this set, even in the serving role. As we mentioned, Mobley's a first year. I haven't seen a whole lot of her this year until she came on in the last game against Wesleyan, looked very strong, and it looks like she's keeping that up tonight.
Heckman tries to push that one deep. Now Baker. She setting that one up for Castor. Chen was down early. Baker, and that one takes a touch off the antenna. So that one will go to Tufts as they are just holding off this Williams-Eves resurgence.
Even though the Jumbos get the point there, I want to highlight Helen Chen. Middle blocker, making an excellent dig in the backcourt, making a great play to keep the Jumbos hit at bay. But unfortunately, in the end, they weren't able to get the point. But still, a great play from the middle blocker.
Dates looking for Baker. She lost her balance. But as long as the Jumbos keep the play alive, they just can't, though, as Mobley hit that one into the net.
Sometimes it's hard to get those backcourt hits, adjust to it correctly, and may have been a better choice to try a down ball without the jump. But if she could have pulled that off, it would have been a much more challenging reception for the Eves.
Another let off as Campizano's serving has been very hot and cold.
You noticed in this set, we've slowly seen Williams come in closer in this game. It looked like right there that Tufts had came back to keep getting 2 points in front, which has been a number they've kind of stayed at until now. And yep, the scoreboard was not updating in quickest time, but Tufts is keeping that lead. They have not let Williams tie it up despite their efforts.
Norris now back to serve as she had that fantastic run earlier in the set. Baker, that one goes through the block, and Norris will not get to continue that one.
It's an unfortunate one for the Jumbos, as it seems just Camji and Chi were not quite on the same wavelength. As Becca de Poncia Pinheiro has put on the libero shirt, and it will come in as the libero for Matsushi, giving Matsushi a little bit of rest.
She's been working as hard as she could as Camji tries to put that one away. Well dug. Campizano sends over the free ball. Norris, in miscommunication, Castor has sent her over her own free ball. Campizano, dug by Mobley and pushed over by Castor. Still alive. Fricky now, through the block. And they're going to call that a carry, I think, or a double touch, in fact, on the Jumbos.
I've sworn that was a carry, but double touch, still the Eves point.
Yeah, it's interesting to note with Becca de Poncia Pinheiro coming in that libero shirt, she was not wearing that shirt in the warm-up in the Open tonight. So it looks like Cora Thompson is maybe changing her mind, changing some things around a little bit based off how this match has gone so far, looking for a little bit of defensive help by bringing de Poncia Pinheiro in as a libero.
Norris to Camji. Castor just pokes that one down. And just as the Eves tie it up, they find themselves behind again.
This one's going down to the wire here, and the Jumbos previously in the season have struggled to close out these tight sets, but as Sebastian mentioned in the pregame, they're now 7-2 in those tight sets in these recent games, so they'll be feeling a bit more confident about their chances as of late.
Those two close sets they lost, as that one is going to go down as an ace for Castor. Those two close sets they lost were to MIT. We shouldn't forget, number 4 in the nation.
And one of only 2 unbeaten teams left in the nation. Jumbos did take a set off of them, which I feel like is something to be proud of for the Jumbos.
For now, they have to focus on taking the set off the Eves. That will do them a world of good. Is another ace from Claire Castor. Bit more fortunate that time.
Castor has now matched Ellen Norris' total of aces on 4 herself. As the Jumbos, we talked about serving being something that could let the Eves down, but it's something that's really propelled the Jumbos upward, as they have now recorded 9 service aces on the night. They had 11 last time in 4 sets against the Eves, so already running ahead of that number from last time.
For sure, and we saw on that play right there, Claire Castor with the serve. It was a little bit of a softer serve than normal from her, and the ball just happened to get off the front of the net and fall, take some momentum off the ball by the net and fall in the middle of the court, giving it a very lucky shot for Tufts and unlucky for Williams.
2 interesting stat battles here. As you say, Tufts now with 9 service aces to Williams 4. In terms of blocks, Williams are actually leading Tufts 9-4 by the same numerical scoreline, I should say. But if you're Tufts, you will take that service ace winning battle over that blocking battle for the moment, as they are now 4 points away from leveling this game at 1 set apiece.
I do think it is important to know with the blocks that 7 out of those 9 blocks from Williams came in the first set. They've only achieved 2 in the second set, so the 2 teams are even in terms of blocking in the second set, which is something that I'm sure Cora Thompson is very happy about for Tufts, as they are such a block-first team, and Williams really isn't.
The Eves timeout managed to successfully ice the serving run last time. Can they do it again this time? Castor. Dates. Obi pushes it over. Norris to Audette with her own tip. Now Fricky, and again a misjudgment.
And one thing DePonte Pinero has been doing very well since she came on the court is she has been very ready at the cover. In the first set, they struggled to cover off of being blocked, and while she hasn't been called into action, she has been in position, ready for every cover opportunity.
Castor with another good serve. Dates to Fricky, and DePonte Pinero with a good call as that one floated wide. Tufts now within 2. Kate Lane going to check into the game to add some extra attacking firepower to keep the set as close to the Williams end as possible. On the other side, here is Castor. Goes straight to Lane. Dates to Obi. Kept alive. Audette. And that's a well-placed kill to give the Jumbos their own set of 6 set points, just as Williams had.
Christina Audette showing Coach Thompson she wants to be in the front row. She wants to hit an excellently placed hit, excellently placed line hit there from the grad student, and really showing why she has that veteran experience, why she deserves to be on the court, why she deserves to show what she can do.
She had a bit of a rocky start, but she has grown into this game as Cora Thompson would have hoped. Miscommunication there. Campuzano has to send it in, and it ends up completely confusing the Jumbo's defense. Williams save their own set point.
And we saw Castor there coming kind of in towards this side of the court that we are currently standing on, in that corner, coming out there, not a position, not a run that she's used to making, and was unable to get a hit going in the right direction on the ball there.
Norris. Camji trying to close it out, can't do so. Dates to Lane. Straight to DePonte Pinero. Castor from the backcourt. Audette. That will do it. The Jumbos take the second set. We are level at 1. We will take a short break and come back to you with the third set live from Cousins. Welcome back here to Cousins as we are getting set for this third set between these two. The playoff matchup between these two the last 3 times has been won in straight sets. Will not be the case today as the Eves took the first 25-20. The Jumbos bit back immediately 25-19. And it's really been a story on the Eves side of Keely Campuzano.
Keely Campuzano has been immense in this game. She has 13 kills on 17 attempts, no errors, which puts her at a remarkable 0.76 hitting percentage, which is just unheard of. And if she manages to keep this out for the rest of the game, this will be a career night for her. She's got 13 kills in 2 sets. The last time in 4 sets, she had 13 kills. And if she keeps it up at this pace, she could hit, if this game ends in 4 sets, which is very possible, she could hit 26, even higher, which would be a career night for her. So she's been playing excellent. But she needs a bit more support for her teammates. Right now, Chen and Baker each on 4 kills, Fricky on 3, Obi on 2. And while their defense has been very strong, they haven't had other players really step up and provide those higher kill amounts that she needs in order to pull away in this game. But the NESCAC Player of the Week has been playing incredible tonight, and no surprise why she has been given that honor.
We are set up here as we were at the start. Dates back to serve on the left side of the gym from our camera angle. That one goes in towards Castor. Lou looking to Heckman. Woolwind calls off Campuzano so she can try and do that. But Castor dug it. Heckman off the block. Ponce Pinheiro maintaining her place from the last set as Heckman's attempted kill is wayward. Some of the fans calling for a touch, but they're not going to get it.
As once again, Tufts falling a bit out of rotation there. Of course, Rihanna Liu, the setter, should normally be the second person on Tufts to touch the ball there. So there she was the first, and it ended up being Becca de Ponce Pinheiro who had to set it, and that led to a lost point.
The call seemed like they wanted to, or excuse me, it sounded like they wanted to call that one out, but Castor received it anyway, and they couldn't get it over the net.
It's a really unfortunate point for the Jumbos as some miscommunication leads to the mishap at the start, and they're unable to resolve it. As sometimes it might be best to send the free ball over rather than attempt the cross-court kill into the net.
Dates again into Castor. Lou to Audette. That one splits the difference of the Eves block, and they can't keep it alive.
Christine Audette has really settled into this match at this point. She's now had her 5th kill of the night and had a crucial 2 down the stretch in the end in the last set. Another one on the board gives the Jumbos the first point in this 3rd set.
It's now her turn to serve. Into Baker. Dates to Fricky, and that one goes straight through all of the Jumbos defenders.
Fricky was able to just find a spot on the back line right there, behind the Tufts players in the back row, but in front of the blue line where there's no room for debate. Just exactly what you need to do when you're playing in her position of an outside hitter.
Another Jumbos kill with
it's a fantastic serve there from Kemi Izraelski.
She gets some very nice spin on her serve, making it challenging to read as their Castor and DePonce Pinheiro had a little miscommunication, trying to figure out where exactly that serve was going.
This is looking very reminiscent of the first set at the moment. Izraelski with another knuckleball. Heckman takes a touch, and Woolwind has to pick it up. Baker, Ponce Pinheiro with a good dive. And Heckman can't quite get that one on the first attempt. Date's able to send over the free ball. Lou lines that one up for Castor. Izraelski, Dates to Baker, off the block. Griffiths, and the joust at the net still goes over to Tufts in the end. Another touch off the block. Excuse me, that was Campuzano again. Just managed to force that one through the block, because that was a real blocking battle through that point.
It is a very rare misplayed block by Julia Griffiths. Once again, the NESCAC blocks leader. We don't really see that from her when the ball is, she's set up to block and just kind of goes right through her setup position, but that's exactly what happened right there.
That said, this is the 3rd time that we've seen in this set a ball go straight through the block. Twice for the Jumbos, once for the Eves. As it looks like Tatum Baker has required some tape from her teammates, but looks like everyone's okay, so glad to see that. Gives Coach Thompson a chance to speak to her team and really get them figure out some way to stop the serve of Cami Israelski.
Israelski has no plans of stopping on her own accord. Here she is again. That was a diving attempted dig there by DePonce Pinheiro, but so much speed on that, so much dip, almost impossible to keep in.
And Coach Thompson opting instead of the timeout to send in the first-year libero, Matsushi. Played a large part of this game up to this point, and she comes back in.
She will happily watch that one drift out of bounds.
And she will now come back to serve. One of the better servers on this Jumbo's team, I believe 4th in service aces.
Alina Chi also back into the game for Tufts. She into Israelski. Campizano rejected by Alina Chi.
So she, even though she might not exactly have the height of Julie Griffiths, she's still such a strong blocker up front, such a strong defensive player. And having her on the court is really one of the rare times you'll be able to do something like that and make a play like that. We saw the emotion on the Tufts players' faces. They were very pleased to see that occur.
Campizano manages to evade the block that time. Can't evade Lou. Heckman. Woolwind. Baker and straight into Audette. Lou attempting the setter's dump. Can't quite pull it off. Chi's pass is wayward and Castor can't do anything with it from that angle.
That was a great reaction from Helen Chen to spot the setter's dump and hit it back over, causing Lou to have to hit it again and forcing Chi to be that second hit, which she's not really used to being. So that really all stems from the great play from the junior middle.
And again, Williams just teasing out to an early lead here. Good save there from Tufts. As that one was a misplayed set. Obi jumped just too early.
Jumbo's got a lucky break there as they're able to continue their 6-2 rotation. Ellen Norris comes back in, and she has been phenomenal from on the service line. Can she look to continue that here?
Yes.
Left-handed serve is good into Woolwind. Dates lines that one up straight for Obi. She gets a fantastic kill.
Great quick set there from Dates, giving Chi a open look. When you have a hitter of the quality of Obi Chi, she will put it away and put it in an excellent corner of the court.
Audette has to dive for that one. She just sends that one over as any way she can. It's the attempted push there by Obi. It was blocked, but they're going to call that 4 touches. I'm not sure how they did that.
Nope, that was a net violation there from Alina Chi, who also has a 4 on her number, so that 4 was up in the air. But Alina Chi was the one hitting the net. Unfortunate error for the Jumbos.
Always trust the referee to read the referee signals, Jake. As that serve was errant, the Jumbos will get the serve back.
An error from both sides as sort of washes each other out, but because the Williams East are leading, they won't be too upset about that.
And now Claire Castor back again to serve. Had the run to put the Jumbos within touching distance last set. Campizano, dug by Castor. Audette, and that one was certainly going long, but Israelski felt the need to take a touch.
To get tipped off the block is my sense why Israelski felt she had to go for that one. But Jumbo's able to get another point, get themselves within 3. And one thing to note is that Jumbos are really leading the service battle. 9 kills, 9 aces to 1 error versus 6 aces to 5 errors from the East. And that one's going to go wide.
East went completely out of rotation there.
That was, though, a very, very valiant effort from the East libero, Cedra Woolwind. She came all the way onto the sort of darker brown wood on this near side of the court, but unfortunately the ref was not willing to give her that point.
Yeah, going outside the antenna.
Yeah, into the basketball out of bounds, as we say here in Cousins. Baker. Norris lines it up for Chi. There's that kill.
Great kill there from Alina Chi. She's able to work off of the quick set, something that the Jumbos did a lot in that first set. One of the few things that worked really for the Jumbos in that first set. But going back to a classic.
Is Castor's going to line that one up. She's going to get an ace for it.
Claire Castor already on a multitude of aces tonight. That will be her fifth of the night.
It's approaching that 7 figure that she got against Trinity. You wouldn't put it past her. She can't quite keep that one, the kill from Obi.
I do want to note with Castor, despite Tufts not winning the point there, 5 service aces for her, which goes up against her 6 kills. I mean, she has nearly as many service aces as she does kills, which is a very interesting stat for Castor.
Correction there, stat keepers have updated. She has now matched her aces and kills with 6 aces.
Fricky, you could hear that one. That was a hit and a half from Annalise Fricky.
And one thing to note with Chi Obi in the front row, who has been excellent. She's replacing Merritt Hoyam, who was one of the Eve's strongest players for years on end. A honorable mention All-American last year and the year before. And she gets a block here.
Showing she's a more than worthy replacement. Only a first year, stepping in and filling in fantastically in that Eve's blocking line.
She's had quite the night tonight as well.
It's going to go down as another ace, that time for Tatum Baker.
That serve just dropped.
Yeah, and just as Tufts had gotten it to 9-all, suddenly the Eves are up by 4 again.
Chi Obi sitting on 4 blocks tonight has been very strong. Another, the exact same serve as the last time we saw.
Cora Thompson, none too happy with that.
DePonte Pinheiro will check in to hopefully avert the same issue.
Has work to do there, sends it for Castor.
Excellent placement from Claire Castor, finding the side of the court, making it really challenging off of a tough pass, but great work from the sophomore hitter.
This is Cedra Wolin, the libero over there, diving effort. She was able to get her hands on the ball, but not able to assist it in a way in which she would be getting a dig for that play.
Griffiths and Norman back in. Chi to serve. It's a great one as well. Baker diving, couldn't do anything with it.
Jumbos are going to need some huge plays here as they want to get back in this game after conceding a series of service aces to the Eves. But great way to start it is a service ace of their own from Alina Chi, her second of the night. And a third of the night.
And the way that ball moves in the air from Alina Chi, that is so difficult to deal with when you're a receiver.
Yeah, Cedra Rowland thought that was a lot higher than it was, unable to adapt to it.
She trying to replicate it again, has a bit more topspin on that one. Obi tried to hit that one down, but only found Chi. Kamji, dug by Woland. Fricky, and again, takes a touch off the block, will bounce wide. Fricky has really been heating up.
I do want to go back to the topic of service aces, because with that third ace from Alina Chi, that becomes 13 on the night from Tufts in total compared to just 8 from Williams. So even though Williams is in front, serving has been one area where Tufts has really exceeded throughout the course of this match.
Campizano, she will not be exceeded tonight. That's another kill for her, her 15th.
She had been a little bit quiet in the last few points. By quiet, I mean she hadn't got a kill in like 3 points, which is remarkable of its own right, but able to get a great cross-court kill and put the Williams lead to 4 points. The Jumbos really got themselves the lead, got themselves into this game, and then had it slip away again as they hope to really arrest that slide, cut off this Williams momentum, and get themselves back in this game.
One interesting difference between the two teams' approaches is that Tufts have been very willing to go to the bench and pull some more players out. We've seen Mobley, DePonte Pinheiro come in, Chi has come in, as well as Emma Norman a couple times now, none of whom played the first set, whereas Williams, only Kate Lane has come in after the first set, played any points of any description. They have been much more reliant.
I think Kate Lane was on for about 5 points as well, so it wasn't like she came on like we've seen with Chi, where she's come on and replaced APBA. She is just came on for a few points, and then Fricky's come back. And as you mentioned earlier, Fricky has really started to pick it up in this next set, playing quite well at 6 kills now, which is quite strong of her own mark, but 15 for Campuzano has been the number to beat. No other player in the game with more than 7. Castor, the next most.
Micah, I do want to make the point to what you mentioned before about a lack of rotation for Williams and a lot of rotation for Tufts. This has been something we've seen from Tufts on the year. They really like to cycle through their players. They've got a lot of younger players on this roster. As you mentioned, only the one senior and the graduate student, Christine Audette. So it's been a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores. Cora Thompson, throughout the year, has really been trying out different combinations of players, seeing what will stick, what will be a good move for the future going on. So even though we've entered this NESCAC tournament, we're still seeing a lot of that sort of experimentation from Cora Thompson.
Woolwind with a very short wind-up serve. Norris to Norman, looking for her first kill of the night, can't quite get it there. Campuzano angles that one over. Norris to Camji, and it just goes wide. Woolwind is pumped about that one.
That was tight, but Woolwind right there, able to call it correctly. Jumbo's unable to capitalize off of a tantalizing free ball that really felt like they were going to get a great point off of it, but Camji sends it just a little bit wide. Unfortunate for the Jumbos. It's amazing how just a few inches can change the course of the game, because that would have been a massive momentum swing for the Jumbos, but instead the Eves get it.
That one, a couple more than a few inches there from Woolwind. Not the serve she was hoping for.
And that's the 6th service error for Williams as a whole today. That's compared to just 1 for Tufts. So as we've mentioned, Tufts has a lot more service aces than Williams, and they have a lot more service errors. Going to Rihanna Liu now for the serve. We'll see if that trend continues.
Dates to Chen on the slide. She misjudges it. It's going to go wide. Tufts cut the lead to 3.
As mentioned earlier, when Griffiths run the slide, with the slide you have to get your body around the ball. In this case, Chen unable to really get around it and is unable to wrap it into the other side of the court.
Liu to serve again. Hasn't really been able to get on a run. Campuzano again sends over the free. Heckman, and again, the right side has just been a bit off in these last couple points for the Jumbos.
That's the second time the Jumbos had a free ball and have been within inches of getting a point. That one, I think, might have been closer than inches. Very, very tight. They need to be able to put it away on those free balls. They need to convert off of free balls if they want to get back into this game.
Dates now as we hit the head of the serving rotation. Heckman from the outside this time. Fricky just pushes that one through the block, almost as if it wasn't there.
Looks like that ball kind of got trapped between the legs of Castaneda. She came sliding forward from the right side to take care of that ball. Unfortunately, that meant that she couldn't really get any height on it, and she had to give away that point to Williams.
Dates again. 5 points clear of the Jumbos, 6 short of the set. Caster with the receive. Norman coming in the middle. She will get her kill of the night.
And that validates Coach Thompson's choice to send in the more attacking-minded Norman, who can go to the front row and hit with power. Christine Audette will check back into the back row, who's a very strong defender, but hasn't quite found her foot in the last couple points, or in getting those kills in the front row.
Fricky. Wow, she is really hitting form now.
And that's a scary sight for the Jumbos. It's one thing if you're dealing with just a incredible hitter like Campuzano, but when other hitters are stepping up alongside, you can't really isolate your block to one side if you have to deal with other hitters like Fricky, who's been playing very strong up to this point.
Now Israelski is the server, not something the Jumbos will want to see. Heckman again pushes it long this time.
Jumbos have had 3 attack errors in, I think, the last 5 points, counting 18 attack errors on the game, and that's just not a stat line the Jumbos like to see. We talked about going into this game, the Eve service errors and the Jumbos attack errors are something that both teams really struggle with, and whichever one turns out to be a more powerful folly of sorts could cost that team. And 6 service errors for the Eves, 18 attack errors for the Jumbos, and that's not a sign you like to see.
That has been such a big problem for the Jumbos throughout this season. It's been the attack errors.
Yeah. Williams tonight, they've only managed 11 attack errors, which still not a absolutely tiny number, but compared to Tufts, who's really been struggling in that department, it stood out for them.
And that reflects in hitting percentage. The Jumbos are hitting at a measly .074, while the Eves are hitting at a strong .317, and that's a massive difference. And that lethality that the Eves have been bringing tonight has really shown, especially when hitters like Campuzano get to the ball and can just really slam that ball into the court. Campuzano not at that .76 that she was in between sets, which was just unsustainable really to see a number of that height, but still she's at a .6 hitting percentage, and that's still a very, very strong number.
Over .3 is pretty good. Over .5 is impressive. Over .6, I mean, that's just
insane.
It's indescribable.
I also want to bring some attention to Morgan Dates, who's up to 30 assists on the night for Williams, a very high number, while Tufts' leading assister is Rihanna Liu at only 10, so 1/3 of Dates' score.
Audette picks up the pieces from that block. Heckman this time. Dates to Campuzano, and she's finding the floor again.
Dates is on pace to match her career high in each of the last 2 matches of 46 assists. The Jumbos, you don't see those high assist numbers because they run that 6-2 system where they have 2 different setters, but still that 30 mark that Dates is putting up is a very strong number. 31 at this point.
Liu looking for her own.
And the stack from the Jumbos works out excellently as they run 2 hitters to the middle, confusing the Williams block, and Emma Heckman converts coolly as the Jumbos within 6, but Eve's only 3 points away from taking it.
Cora Thompson lately sends Matsushi into serve instead of Becca DePonce-Pinheiro. A lot on the line here. Into Israelski. Campuzano. Dug by Liu. Heckman got that one wrong.
So Heckman just got the wrong angle on the ball there, ended up shooting it much further down than she would have hoped for. And plays like that have been part of the reason why her kill total tonight of 5 is a little bit lower than she would probably like to see from herself.
Couldn't get much on that one either. So now Baker. Liu does great work to keep that one in play. Castor finishes it off.
Great line hit there from Claire Castor off the set from Emma Heckman. Not necessarily the setter you expect to see, but it was a good set, and Castor able to put it away nicely.
What makes a winning team is versatility. So even though Emma Heckman might not be the typical setter, you know, we're used to seeing players more like Rihanna Liu or Emma Norris in that category. Emma Heckman was able to take care of it right there.
Dates with a quick attempted to Obi. Didn't quite work out. Castor runs onto that one, and now she's on 2 in a row.
Castor's found a groove here, hitting toward that back corner, hitting in that line spot, which generally teams tend to push their block in a little bit to expect the cross-court hit, which is a much more common hit. But in that case, if Castor can hit the line, it's going to force the block out, which might open up future cross-court hits.
Dates to Campuzano. There's the block for the Jumbos again. Woolwin just tips that one over at any cost. Kamji slams that one off the block. The Jumbos cut the lead to 4. Still a long way to go.
But who else do you want serving the Ellen Norris, who's had a career night tonight from behind the service line?
The East looking to put an end to that as quickly as possible, call a timeout.
Now, the next couple of points are very crucial. If Tufts can get 2 while keeping the Williams score below 25, that'll mean that the win by 2 becomes very applicable in this matchup, and Tufts will have a bit of a lifeline to maybe send that final points total past 25 and make the game more attainable for them, or the set at least.
Norris at this point has matched her career high in aces of 4, which he got against Wesleyan in a couple years ago. So it's a strong number that she's recorded, and with how this game's going, I won't be surprised if she breaks her career high of 4 kills. 4 aces, sorry.
And that one was earlier this year, just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, she was strong in that game, and she has also been strong in this game. She's really hitting her stride in this final stretch of the season. Great sign for the Jumbos.
As you mentioned, the difference as the Jumbos running this 6-2 versus the 5-1 of Williams. Williams have really varied it up sometimes, with Lily Karstens coming in and getting some moments of magic, but that was not a moment of magic from Ellen Norris.
And she had a good streak going, but unfortunate service error to start off into set point for Keely Campuzano to serve.
Audette keeps it in. Lined up for Kamji. Woolwind manages to keep it in, but she's not going to let that one stay alive.
Kamji hitting from the outside there and puts a challenging hit for the East, and she able to put it away. And that's always something, as a middle blocker, always fun to see the ball looping at that level. Just an easy kill for Lena Chi.
Tufts will be happy to see that their server for hopefully these last 4 set points will be Caster.
And that's brutal. Rotation error from the Eves, as Coach Kelsey of the Eves will check what the issue is. She does not seem happy.
The rotation error is not something you see very often at this high level of collegiate volleyball. So definitely, Coach, a little bit upset, a little bit confused over the call and working it out right now.
I think they're probably going to call a repoint here, as I don't see them out of the rotation, but the referee is going to check in with the lineup he was given.
Still discussing here.
And this is something that could kill momentum of a team. Even if it does get overturned, it's going to really mess up the stride of the Eves. But as the Jumbos are the insurgent team, the team trying to come back, it could just throw out the momentum of the game as a whole. The point will stand as the Jumbos get really a free point here.
They will take any free points they can get.
On a close match like this, you really cannot be giving up points on rotation errors.
Caster's serve. Received by Baker. She's going to get it back. And she gets the touch off the block to send this one into a 4th set with Williams, the leaders, 2 sets to 1.
And Jumbos, really unfortunate way to close off that set. And one thing I was surprised is we didn't see Caster go toward the stack, the hiding of Keely Campuzano in the back, which she had done so effectively earlier this game. But Baker able to make a great pass and get out of this set as we go 2-1 for the Eves. In my opinion, I see us we're going to 5 sets. That was 5 sets written all over it, but we'll see.
2 quarterfinals have already gone to 5 sets today. You want to stay tuned to see if this one will have the same fate. Stay with us. Welcome back to Cousins, as we are entering now the 4th set of action between the Eves and the Jumbos to decide who will progress to the NESCAC semifinals. East leading 2-1. The back of 3 quite close sets, all decided by 6 points or less.
One player who's been particularly impressive in this game so far has been Morgan Dates, the setter for this Williams side, and she's really been filling in for the role of Lauren Coppola last season, who 3-year starter, very, very strong player, including 1,930 career assists. But Morgan Dates has been excellent tonight. She's already achieved a solid 32 assists and is on pace for tying or possibly even breaking their career record she set in both of her last games of 46 assists. And I'd say she's definitely in form right now.
As we say, Coach Christy Kelsey has been happy to vary between the 6-2 and the 5-1. Lily Carsons has not seen the floor yet tonight, though. It has been very much the Morgan Dates show.
Unsurprisingly so, with how well Dates has been playing at this point.
Not to mention, as you say, 92 assists in 2 games last weekend against Hamilton and Amherst. That's a great serve to start things off for Tufts. Well controlled by Woolwind, though. Lou, there's that setter's dump we see so often.
And she's really taking advantage. The East a little bit off kilter, off of having to send the free ball over, off of having to deal with the ball backward, and really just tactically placed. But keep an eye and see if Morgan Dates will try to match her as she did earlier in this game.
Can't do anything with a pass like that, as Chi is going to put that one on the floor as well.
Going back to that Rihanna Lou setter dump that we just saw there, we mentioned that that's been a very frequent, well-used play by Tufts throughout the season, but that's still Lou's first kill on the night. That's the first time they've attempted that setter dump from Rihanna Lou in this match. Maybe that's something we'll see throughout the rest of this 4th set in order for Tufts to change things up and tie this back up at 2 apiece.
That's an uncharacteristic service error for Lou, who only has 3 errors in her entire season in NESCAC play, combined with 15 aces. So she's normally a very effective server and one who doesn't make those mistakes, but unfortunate for her here.
Talking about effective servers, Israelski, but Norman is going to put an end to that run immediately. And Dylan Wisenant is going to check into the game for her first minutes.
We were having a conversation in the break that Christine Audette was playing a semi-defensive specialist role, essentially, as she would sub off in the back row for Emma Norman. But Coach Thompson deciding might as well put her actual defensive specialist in, Dylan Wisenant, who's played libero at points this season, is an excellent server and defender.
Good dig there from Lou. And Kamji, that one takes a touch off the block, and Tufts are out to an early 4-1 lead.
Looks like that's some positive influence from Dylan Wisenant. She has started the majority of Tufts matches this year as the libero. So it was a little interesting not seeing her throughout the first 3 sets of this match. She's coming in now, and Tufts is off to the start that they would want to get going.
Wisenant is having a fantastic start. 2 great serves to start things off.
It's an ace of her own there, and we've seen in each of these sets, one team has taken an early lead. In the first and the third set, it was Williams. In the second and the 4th set, it has been Tufts. And
something in the air on that left side of the court.
In each of those sets, the team that took the early lead ended up winning. We can the Jumbos pull it out here.
Shi to Lou to Chi, and it's another point on the board for the Jumbos.
Everything is going right for Tufts in the early part of this set, and it's worth noting on the court right now, before this timeout, we have 3 different freshman players in Dylan Wisenant, Maywin Kamji, and Matsushi, 2 sophomores in Rihanna Lou and Claire Castor, and then just the 1 senior. So despite that real youth focus that Cora Thompson was putting out there to start this set, it was working, and Tufts is off to a very nice early lead.
One thing this Jumbos team does very well is integrating those freshmen. We saw earlier last year, we saw Castor, Heckman, and Lou get extended minutes as freshmen. And we've seen the first years this year get a lot of minutes as well. We've seen KMG, we've seen Wisenant, Shi, we've seen Mobley get good minutes, we've seen Selena Savage get good minutes. So the Jumbo's really utilizing Ruby Flath until her injury. So Ellery Clark as well. Yeah, we've seen a lot of first years get great minutes and really develop a very strong future of this program, because they have 2, a senior and a grad student who they'll both lose next year. They have, I believe, 3 juniors.
And 16 underclassmen.
The rest, yeah, underclassmen, and that's a really positive sign for this Jumbos program.
thing for me that's so strange is to imagine that Clarkaster is still a sophomore. She feels like she's been around forever. She carries herself like a senior. She's back in the game here.
A lot of maturity Clarkaster has. Very strong player.
Leading the Jumbos with 9 kills so far in the night. Wisnan's serve is again good, but the kill there from Chen is even better.
Eves coming out of the timeout strong, coming in with a lot of energy. As we see Chiobi check on the court again, leading the team and the game in blocks. She's had a great night.
Chen serve takes a tip. Camji has to improvise, does well with it. Now lined up for Campizano. And that one goes long, no touch. The Jumbos are again stretching this lead early.
And that is Keely Campizano's only second attack error tonight off 28 attempts. So a very strong number. So even though she got an error there, she's had a phenomenal night hitting.
Alina Chi now back to serve for Tufts. Tatum Baker, that one takes a touch off the block and she couldn't dig it up.
Situation there where you have your middle blocker serving in the back row. You don't have your libero, you don't have your Matsushi or your Becca DePonte Pinero ready to deal with it. So something somewhat expected in that rotation.
Campizano now serving. Caster as setter finds Camji. Israelski has to send over the free. Liu to Camji. Still, they can't quite convert on those free balls, but they're going to get a gift from Campizano with their third attack error of the night.
It's really unlucky as Israelski made a phenomenal diving one-arm play to keep the ball out, but unable to convert off of it. Unfortunate error there from Campizano.
And as we've mentioned, Campizano has been such a key player for Williams, really been the key player, or her alongside Morgan Dates. If Campizano is going to be playing like this where she's not really getting the hits and the kills that she was looking for, Williams is going to continue to struggle.
Tell me if you've seen this before. Ella Norris going to that back corner. But talk about back corners. Fantastic placement there.
Tatum Baker has had a quietly very strong night as well for the Eves. A crucial final kill in that last set. And there, a perfectly placed line hit to that back corner. Nothing the Jumbos could do.
That one into Caster. Heckman through the middle, through the block. And that one's 9.
And Heckman's had a rare off night, but if she can get swinging a bit more, if she can tally a few more kills of her own, that would be very strong for her. And to be noticed, an off night for Heckman, she's got 7 kills.
6, I think. They just updated that.
6 kills, but still, doesn't feel like she quite got into her groove in this game. But if she can get into that here, great sign for the Jumbos.
The block anticipated the push over there, but that block couldn't keep it under control. Will roll out of bounds.
I think that one did go off of Emma Norman as it went out of bounds off the block, so I expected that to be a Jumbo's point. But in the huddle, Emma Norman was saying that it was her bad, so I believe that one did go off of her.
Emma Norman in the back row this time. As Norris hasn't quite managed to pull off the setter dump either of the times she's tried it. Caster from the back row. And that one was well away from any Williams players.
It's a rare attack error from Claire Caster. We saw her, see her, their lips saying, "My bad" on that, because we don't see that from her very much. Just a little bit too much angle on that and too far to the opposite side of the court.
Another great dive from Shi. Now Dates looking for the quick to Chen, didn't quite work. Heckman straight off the block, and Chen is happy with that one, if not the kill.
Yeah, that was a great block there from the Eves front row. And we haven't quite seen the production in that since that first set where the Eves were just everywhere, blocking every attempt the Jumbos had. But if they're blocking it going here, that could lead to them leaving Cousins with the win.
Dates this one across for Fricky and through the block. Norris had to take that one in the face.
And that was another play there. It looked like Ella Norris was more concerned, rightfully so, with her own safety on that play. And that ball was rocketed at her. And she was just trying to make sure she did not get hurt.
And that's a blocking lineup that we expect to see more from.
That's an ace.
Sidra Wolwin gets an ace. Is Emma Norman in the back row to receive. She's in the front row to hit, but because of the rotation, she is in the back row now.
Now Ellery Clark is going to check in for Ella Norris, her first point of the night at setter.
Norris has had generally quite a strong night tonight, but Coach Thompson just wanted to get the Jumbos out of this rut here as the Eefs have got back into this game, tied it back up.
Clark tried to shove that one over. They're going to call that, I believe, yes, as a plane violation on the Jumbos. And now Williams Eefs, who were behind by something like 5, are now up.
Yeah, and it is hard to sub a setter mid-game because that's really something where you have to get warmed into it. You have to get set up to do it. But the Jumbos will get some relief here as Sidra Woolwind sends her serve into the net. But still, a very strong stretch of serves from the senior libero.
And as Julia Griffiths checks out, as you mentioned, we expect more from that blocking lineup. Griffiths has had 1 block assist tonight. That is startlingly low numbers from her for what we come to expect from her this season. As that kill just took a touch, I believe, even though it went out of bounds. I thought it didn't, but referee was directly in front, so I'll defer to him on that.
It did go out of bounds, but I believe it did take a touch as the Eefs take the lead yet again. Jumbos really need to figure something out here. Won't be surprised if we see a timeout from Coach Thompson in the near future if this continues.
Castor with the receive. Clark to Heckman. Clark records her first assist of the night.
Ellery Clark, she's a freshman out of Minnesota who has not played too much this year. But in the game she's been on, she's looked rock solid. We saw in that tightly fought matchup against Colby that Tufts unfortunately came up short. Clark did her absolute best to keep Tufts in it, recording 24 assists. And then additionally in a match at Bates, we saw her pick up 11 digs. So when Clark is on the court, look out for her.
She will be subbed out quickly for Rihanna Liu as the rotation allows her to come back in. She sets that one for Norman. Woolwind is equal to it. Campizano into the block. Woolwind, Fricky into the block, sent over, and they will be happy to see that one just go wide.
I feel like the Eefs deserve that point. They reacted so well to everything sent at them, but in that case just goes slightly wide. Sidra Woolwind, the veteran libero, her four-year starter, recording at this point, she is on 1391 career digs and has been a real stalwart of this Williams defense as Brianna Liu has a second service error of the night, really uncharacteristic from her.
It's just really, it's not been Rihanna Liu's night the way that we've seen so many times from her this year. I think it might be part of the reason why I haven't seen her on the court as much. When she's on, she's looked a little bit unsteady. Again, picking up a second service error, which we do not see very much of.
Kemi Israelski with the serve this time. Lou to Kamji, and there's that block for Williams again.
And in that play, Claire Castor was not ready. She wasn't covering. She was standing far back and left that back part of the block exposed, and that's just another thing that we saw happen in the first set where the Jumbos weren't ready to cover. In that case, struggling there.
Castor receives again. Norman, did that take a touch? They say no.
Coach Thompson does call the timeout as the Jumbos had a pretty large lead and have seen it slip away. Now down 2 points. They need to solve something here, or their NESCAC playoff hopes and possibly their NCAA tournament hopes will be dashed away. They're currently outside of the NPI ranking needed for a at-large bid. So a NESCAC playoff run is essential for them to keep their hopes of a possible NCAA tourney run alive.
Currently behind potentially 6 other at-large bids until they reach that cutoff point. So if they do not get a win tonight, you would put their chances of making that tournament at infinitesimal.
And Williams, on the other hand, also quite not high enough in the NPI rankings to get a at-large bid of their own. Last year, it was their NESCAC tournament run that set them to the final as the 6th seed, the highest seed to reach the final in the last couple of years, to really propel them.
Almost the last 2 decades. Since 2008 is the last time the seed outside the top 4 made the NESCAC finals.
So quite the run last year, and that propelled them into the NCAA tournament. So they'll be hoping to get themselves into the tournament here with another run of that caliber, hoping to be the only underdog to win today, and they're certainly starting off well.
Well, we've seen out of timeouts today. We've really seen a lot of momentum from both sides where they're able to take a timeout and then get the game back going in their direction for their respective team. So we'll see if Tufts can take advantage of that timeout right now.
Kamji with the push over. Campizano took a touch off the block, and the lead is now 3. Excuse me, I take back what I said about 2008. I was mixing up my stats.
It is worth noting, Micah, though, that Williams, as the 6th seed, if they're able to pull off this win now, are they a dark horse to keep going further in this tournament? We'll definitely keep an eye out on them.
They would have to face the powerful Colby Mules in the next round.
That's Norman doing her best to make sure that never happens. Wisnett going to check back in for some defensive solidity and some serving prowess. This Tufts trail now by 2. Serve received by Israelski. Dates to Chen to the floor.
And the quick set works out excellently there for the East as Chen goes back to serve, who's had quite a few service streaks tonight.
Looking to line one up again here. Into Castor. Liu to Kamji. That time the touch off the block goes the Jumbo's way.
The Jumbos need a good stretch here from Alina Chi. It is the rotation where they do not have a libero on the court, but Alina Chi has proved herself quite the strong server herself tonight.
Again, that one with no spin on it whatsoever. Obi tried to push that one through, but Griffiths does get her second block of the night.
Effortless blocking Julia Griffiths, using her 6'3" frame to just put her hands right in front, just push the ball in front. You see her laughing about it on the court right there, because that was just a real force of strength.
Really excellently read.
And there's another ace for Alina Chi, and we are back level. Chi serve again, hoping to give the Jumbos the lead. Dates, Campizano, dug by Wisnett. Kamji, again the touch off the block, and again the point for the Jumbos.
She came into this match with 7 service aces. She has already recorded 3 in this matchup alone, so almost half of her season total.
Another good serve there. Baker, though, ends that run where it stands.
Tatum Baker is so adept at hitting those line hits. We've seen her time and time again just slide it beyond the Jumbo's block, and the Jumbo's block on this outside can sometimes be very strong, but this time Baker able to go right through it.
Kamji, wow.
I think wow is all you can really say about that. Mayo and Kamji, phenomenal hit there from the right side. And when she's hitting strong, it's a great sign for the Jumbos.
And now with Emma Heckman coming onto the court, we're going to see that same level of power if Heckman can really do what she does best, hit shots just like that from Kamji. So taking her Kamji off the court right now, like what's going on, shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Jumbos with an all first-year backcourt now as Ellery Clark serving with Matsushi and Dylan Wisnett back there.
Dates attempts the dump, and Griffiths just misjudged it. This set really going blow for blow.
We saw that in the last set, getting really down to the wire, very tight. And that second set, Jumbos won the second one, and Eefs won the third one. So really no real judges who's the stronger team in these down to the wire situations.
Apoy Apaibe coming back into the game. Griffiths subbing out. As Clark lines that one up for Apaibe, she just pushes that one down. Williams almost sends that one into the stands.
Wilwin making a great hustle play to dive for it, but Apaibe comes back into the game with a bang. Claire Castro the service line, hoping to extend the Jumbo's lead.
See Emma Norman entering the game now. Dylan Wisnett going off.
Believe Coach Thompson was just told that Norman cannot sub back out as she has subbed her limit of times.
Castor. Dates. That one hit Clark in the face. She seems unhappy
Jumbos
with
are
how
saying
that went.
is outside the antenna.
It's going to be discussion between the line judge and the up judge. And it will go the Jumbo's way.
The appeal there from Clark, you saw as soon as that hit her, she was put her finger up in there. She knew that was an antenna violation, and so she appealed to the judges and got her way.
The side judge out here making a great call, spotting those outside the antenna, and telling the up judge, Jumbos get away with the point. Castor continues her serve.
It's another good one, and Dates can't get to the receive. The Jumbos are starting to pull away.
And with that, Claire Castor has matched her career high of 7 aces in a singular match, which she did against Trinity, which is also the most aces by a single player in a NESCAC match this season. So Claire Castor on fire from the service line.
That's been so key for Tufts. And as they begin to take the driver's seat a little bit in this set, with just 4 more points to go before we're all even up, we'll see if Castor can maybe even break her season high of 7 service aces, pick up an 8th. Would be a very effective way of Tufts to get an extra point.
As we've seen several times already, Coach Kelsey calling the timeout to ice the server. It's been quite effective, you'd have to say, so far in this match.
I will say I don't feel like we've seen that many errors, though, off the timeout, which I feel like is possibly more the goal of icing it, but they have often got the point, which is, I think they've really collected themselves in the timeouts well, these Eves, and they have been able to deal with the stress and really reset the momentum of the game and allow themselves to get back into this game. Both teams have really had effective timeouts so far in this game, and Coach Kelsey hoping that this one will work out for them.
Ellie Clark's neck is still a bit red after taking that one right there.
Bullet,
but she is not late, or she's taking that in her stride very much. She argued for the point, got the point. Now Castor on the back of that. Fricky into the block. Woland is positioned well. Campuzano. That one will break the momentum again for the Jumbos.
And Campuzano really able to hit from anywhere, this time from the back row, but putting it away nicely, and just such a powerful hitter.
Woland now to serve. Clark, Heckman. She's just putting that away easily.
Great line hit there from Emma Heckman. And she's seen Tatum Baker hit down the line all the time and decided to try one of her own and puts it very nicely.
Now we've mentioned the struggles from Emma Heckman tonight. That is her 8th kill, so even though it's felt like a bit of an off night for her, she's putting up stats, and that's what matters.
Dates, the quick to Chen. Clark reacts very quickly. Norman this time, she gets the kill. The Jumbos are within 2 this time.
Emma Norman validating Coach Thompson's choice to have her in the front row. She is a phenomenal hitter and able to put another great one there. Cross court, put it down, and the Jumbos move within 2 of sending us to a 5th set.
She just put too much on that serve. And now the Eves will have a chance to bring this one back.
She's first service error on the night to go alongside her 4 service aces. So she's been really reliable up until that point as a server.
It will be Dates back to serve. Castor pops that one up with the reception. Norman coming across but misjudged the hit. Now Williams are back within 2.
2 errors in a row for the Jumbos. Short this momentum that they had going as Coach Thompson takes a timeout to help the team reset their mindsets, get themselves really set up for this final stretch, as this could really decide whether their season continues at all. And we talked about the service battle as the Eves at one point were, I believe, down 6 errors to 1 to the Jumbos. It is now 7 errors for the Eves, 5 for the Jumbos. But Jumbos with 17 service aces tonight has been a phenomenal number and one that really stands out in this stat sheet. That said, the Eves hitting at a .29 hitting percentage, while the Jumbos only at a .15. The errors have let them down in that number, so they'll want to really clean those up in this final stretch, in this potential 5th set, at least in these last few points to keep themselves in this game.
As you say, Williams hitting effectively twice as efficiently as Tufts. These service aces have really been keeping Tufts in the game. Dates back to serve, trying to end this one as quickly as possible. Same lineups out of the timeout. Here's the serve from Dates. Received by Norman. Clark, Heckman, dug by Dates. Woolwind to Campizano, and Castor is well positioned. Chi just manages to tip that one over. Campizano finds Chi only. Dates to Chen, rejected again.
And that's a huge point for the Jumbos. That'll really get your momentum up. You got a huge hit from Campizano. Great pass from Chi to keep it up. And then the block sends them to set point. And just a massive point which will really help the momentum out of that timeout. We mentioned those 17 aces the Jumbos have. That is tied for third most in a singular game in the NESCAC this season, and tied for the most in a 4-set game. So really high numbers, and tied for the most in a NESCAC matchup.
Lou serving now. Fricky sends it long, and we are going to a fifth. We've seen it twice today. The NESCAC volleyball scene so tight.
And we go to a fifth set, as we've seen back and forth, each team taking a set, each team taking an early lead. And this fifth set will be massive. The Jumbos yet to win a 5-set game here in Cousins after having a rough one against Brandeis and against Colby. They'll be hoping to break that streak here and come away with a 5-set win. We'll be back in a few minutes for this final set.
You won't want to miss this one. We are back here for this fifth set decider between Tufts and Williams to see who will get to progress to the NESCAC semifinals. Just a reminder for you on the fifth set rules, this will be first to 15 win by 2 rather than 25, and the teams will switch sides of the court after 8 points played.
And as we move into this fifth set, the Jumbos have the lead when it comes to the service battle, but outside of that, the Eeps have been quite strong. 49 kills to 45, but the big thing is those attack errors. Jumbos with 25, Eeps with 17, which leads to that hitting percentage being so drastically different, .276 for the Eeps, while only .148 for the Jumbos. But that gulf has eroded a bit. We mentioned going in, I believe, to the fourth set, the Jumbos a much weaker service percentage, hitting percentage, sorry. So they have improved on that. Another thing of note, 40 assists for Dates, So if Morgan Dates can get 6 more assists in these final 5th set, which will be going to 15 points, she has a shot at tying or breaking her career high, which she set in those last 2 matches.
It really goes to show how impressive it was to get 46 assists twice in 4-set games, as we're now in a 5th, and she is standing at a still quite impressive 40. She is a server as well. As Norman's hit goes off the block, they manage to keep it alive to the Eves, off the Jumbo's block. Lou sprinting to Kamji, pushes it, just about hit the line.
Great placement there from Maywin. Kamji off the tip, barely inbounds, but the line judge right there for it and able to call it.
That was an interesting choice from Kamji. We're used to seeing these very powerful kind of slams from her. That time it was, she kind of hit it a little bit of a rainbow shot over there, but it managed to find a good spot in the back corner, catch Williams off guard, get Tufts that pivotal first point.
Wizenant in the game. She had served so well in the 4th set, but that one was not on the mark.
Wonder if nerves as a first year in this 5th set could come into play there. Wizenant, no stranger to 5-set games. She had her career high in 28 digs in that matchup against Colby.
Baker's serve this time is deep. Lou pushes it across to Chi. Again, huge block from Campuzano and Chen.
Chen and Campuzano read that quick perfectly. They were ready for it. As soon as she got up, she had a wall against her and unable to get it through.
Baker, received by Castor. Kamji manages to play that one off the block and into a point for the Tufts. 2s. Jumbos are 1-3 in 5-setters this year. That only win coming against Trinity. Williams 2-3, but neither of those wins came in conference play.
An interesting choice here. We saw Court Thompson had Alina Chi step off to serve as much as she stays on. She has been excellent from the service line so far.
Maybe just looking for that defensive solidity as Wizenant couldn't keep that one down.
My expectation is she'll sub a defensive specialist on for Appy Ibe when she is serving. That way she can consistently have one of those defenders in the back row and not have her middle blocker in the back row.
Chen into Wizenant. Kamji has plenty of time to line it up, but so did the block. And Williams are starting to make this one a bigger lead, trying to pull away early.
It's her first 2-point lead of this set so far. Had been interesting up until that point to note how not one team had really taken charge early in the set, which had happened in all 4 of the other sets today.
Kamji again, the call was out, the call was right. And now it is 5-2 to the Eves.
And as you said, the Eves really struggling. Looks like Emma Norman's going to come in, I imagine, for... Oh, no, she's coming for Dylan Wizenant in the back row. Interesting.
It's an aggressive play from Cora Thompson.
Norman really a multi-talented player who can play at that right side as well.
She manages to keep that one alive at the expense of the free ball. Campuzano stuttered run up. Did it take a touch off the block? No, the referee shakes his head, and the Jumbos will be happy to see another point go on the board on their side.
Jumbos managed to escape that free ball. That Campuzano hit with getting a point of their own, because when Keely Campuzano swings, it's almost always a kill for the Eves. So Jumbos glad to see that.
Even though that was a free ball, you have to note that that was an incredible dig over there from Emma Norman in the back row. We're not used to seeing her like that. Really full extension, getting the ball, and even though it was a free ball, Tufts still managed to pick up the point.
Ellery Clark now serving. Now digging. Castor off the block. Campuzano off the block as well, but Norman couldn't control it. Sends it into the stands and sends Williams into a 3-point lead.
And Christina Dett will now come in for Emma Norman. Different player who can play very well in the back row and the front row, as could be possibly her last game in Cousins, so it would be great to see her end it off strong.
Campuzano's serve just goes long. Great call, and even if it was a late call from Matsushi.
And Audette checks back off as Emma Norman comes back into the front row.
It's Campuzano's 4th service error on the day. A slightly concerning number in an elimination game.
She's been more than making up for that with her play in regular play as well.
That is true.
Castor. Dates trying to set that one for Obi as she read it well. Heckman off the block, but they can't push it over.
Heckman had a really odd run up there. I don't think she was expecting this set where it was, but she adapts well, plays it off the block, and a crucial kill for the Jumbos as they bring it back to 1. Claire Castor, a very strong server, back to serve, had a great stretch of points earlier in this game.
Received by Fricky as Dates' pass is wayward. They're going to say that one was inside the antenna and it touched the line. Norman incensed with that call, but the line judge was certain.
I'm pretty sure that is the right call. I think that was inside the antenna. Jumbos feel it was outside, though.
So the entire Jumbos coaching staff coming out.
This is the type of situation where it is a costly point to give up.
And Ellery Clark, as she did the last time, hoping to persuade the referee to her point of view. Doesn't look like she's going to get her way.
It will be a Eefs point. That is brutal for the Jumbos. And who better behind the service line for the Eefs than Cami Israelski, who has been phenomenal all season long, but particularly tonight at those serves.
That one into She. Clark, long to Norman. You could see the determination on her face, but couldn't get it to find the ground. Clark with the setter's dump. That's beautifully done.
Talk about the guts from the first year. In the 5th set, crucial moment. She takes it in her own hand. She sets it over and earns a great point. What a decision there from Ellery Clark.
It's a bit of an odd play, too, on the Williams side. We saw Israelski with the initial hit, sending it to the libero, Sidra Woolwin, who just sent it back to Israelski, who ended up throwing a free ball across.
And that's a brutal error there from Apiibe as we will switch the sides of the court. We have seen the team on the left side of the court win every set so far tonight, and the Williams Eefs will close out the game on this left side.
It's interesting to see the decision to bring in Ellery Clark late in the game for Ella Norris. Do you think it's paid off so far?
I would say it has. In that final set where they brought her on, they did end up winning that 4th set, and she has provided that crucial setter's dump, but will it be enough as the Jumbo is still down behind 2?
Sidra Woolwind, the libero, back to serve for the Eefs. Castor receives. Clark, she has to send over the free. Dates to Chen. Heckman with a huge block.
Off to the free ball as well. They're able to read the set to Chen and get a beautiful block. And that's something that'll galvanize the team, galvanize momentum, and get them fired up to go into these final points.
Comes back within 1 point. Maywin Kamji is on the court now, and then Norman. We see Ellery Clark and Heckman going off.
Lou checking in to serve. But that one was fantastically placed tip from the Eefs as they just keeping the Jumbos at arm's length.
Jumbos fully expected that one to go over, and we're all up against the net. But Dace just able to flick it over, and the entire team caught lacking.
Now Dates will go back to serve. It's out. Norman with a good call.
And the Jumbos will take that every day of the week. Service error for the Eefs matches the service error for the Jumbos earlier on, as Christina Audette will come into the back row. This is where you need your veteran presence. You need your grad student to provide some solid serves.
Hasn't served in a couple sets. Dates to Campizano, and the block couldn't get up high enough that time. Or they got up too high almost.
Landing inside of them and the net. 5 points away are the Eefs from pulling off the only upset, as Tatum Baker will serve.
Lou to Kamji, off the block, and Dates keeps it in play. Woolwind to Fricky. Lou can't do anything with that one.
And we see the Eefs bench, Sabina alum, holding up the stuffed cow, the Eef mascot. While their mascot is named after their founder, Ephraim Williams, they have a purple cow is the mascot of choice for this Williams side. And we say they've got their own little totem to that. When things are going well, we've seen the cow come out. Always fun to see.
And as far as they're concerned, it is doing its job. They are within 4 points of sending themselves through to a NESCAC semifinal against the Colby Mules in Waterville.
Looks like the Jumbos might need a stuffed elephant to replicate that magic, as they're struggling a bit here entering the timeout. Looks like the veterans are doing the talking now. The coach is standing on the side.
Coach Thompson now giving her instructions to the team as they move into this final stretch. They need to get a hold of this game. They need to cut out those errors. They need to really cover those blocks. We've seen a few moments of costly errors from the Jumbos, from moving all forward on that dates tip to some service errors and hitting errors as well. Just has to be cut out for the Jumbos if they want to get back in this game. They're down 3. The Eves need 4. So not insurmountable by any means, but definitely a tough hill to climb.
Saw them go on a run of 6 points early in this match. You can see the nerves from Emma Norman crouch down on the sideline as she is checked off. Baker's serve, the call is long, it goes long.
And that's the break the Jumbos need to get back in this game. The Eves service errors have cost them throughout tonight, and it would be an unfortunate but fitting way if the Eves service errors do cost them in this final set.
Matsushi now, back to serve. Finds Fricky. Campizano into Audette. Lou manages to get the set away. Now to Fricky, off the block. Campizano this time tries to tip it, but got it wrong. Jumbos still have work to do. And Dates did her job perfectly. Lou this time to Appy eBay. Great diving save by Woolwind. She with the dig this time. Lou to Castor, off the block, and that is a brutal point to lose.
Both sides making excellent defensive efforts, but in the end, it's the cover off the Jumbos block yet again that just doesn't quite work out. Brutal point to lose there as the Eves move within 3.
Chen. Lou for Kamji. That'll do well for Tufts.
And now the Jumbos have Emma Heckman and Ellery Clark coming back on the court. A chance here to extend this run and get themselves back in this game. Clark will serve.
So much pressure on the first year shoulders. She has shown she can handle that already. It's a shanked pass. Campizano is still trying to get a kill out of it. Can't quite do so off the block. She with a good call. Clark. Heckman. Huge play.
And the Jumbos able to capitalize off of the free ball, set up a good pass. Great pass from Matashik. Gives Ellery Clark all the options in the world, and she finds Heckman perfectly.
We've seen these last few points, it's been the powerful shots from those outsides, Maywin Kamji and Emma Heckman, to be doing the difference.
Fantastic serve, Ellery Clark. Service ace. Nothing that Baker could do to keep that one up.
Excellent play from the first year, and the Jumbo's going to time out. And this is the type of thing that, as a player, when you have a streak and the other team calls a timeout, you get hyped because you know you're in their heads. You know they're in their way. And they've erased this deficit they had. It's a tie game now. We've seen timeouts, though, be effective in this game. We've seen it as a way to reset the game, as a way that teams can stop a streak the other team has. And Coach Kelsey's timeout here works out. The East could still get this back. It's still a tie game, but all the momentum on the Jumbo side at this point.
We've seen momentum shift so quickly, though, in this game. That is the hope of Christy Kelsey calling that timeout.
Now, with both teams knotted up here at 12, it's very likely that this game ends up going past 15 points. So we've been so neck and neck in this game. No team has really been able to find a lead by more than 2 points in quite some time. So we might be here for a while, folks.
The Jumbo's already closer than any of their 5-set games this season, losing to Brandeis 15-8, beating Trinity 15-8, and losing to Colby 15-10, and losing to Claremont Mudscripts 15-7. So this one really going down to the wire, a situation the Jumbos haven't seen in these fifth sets.
Clark still serving. Dates. Campizano. So lethal from the Eves.
Another fitting way in this game would be a Campuzano kill, who has been so strong tonight. She now on 20 kills on the night, matching her career high that she put up against Amherst.
21 updated on the scoreboard now. Career night for her, and that's going to be 2 match points now for the Eves off of the missed pass from the Campuzano serve.
And all the momentum has drained out of the Jumbos as they take their own timeout. Now within a point of possibly a season-ending game. So the Jumbos need to get back in this game if they want to have a hope of prevailing in this tournament and hopefully getting themselves into a better position to get an at-large bid or automatic bid in the NCAA tournament.
Now for Williams, it's not time to get complacent. We've seen Tufts go on a lot of runs tonight. A 3-0 run, or it wouldn't even need to be a 3-0 run because of the win by 2. It could just be a 2-0 run is very, very, very much attainable for Tufts. So Williams, if they do anything, they cannot be allowing a point to Tufts right now and flip momentum back in their direction.
No shock to see a timeout from Coach Thompson here, as we saw the Williams timeout work excellently to offset the Jumbos' 3-0 streak. They got 2 points of their own. The Jumbos here. Williams 2-point streak. Can they stop it and get 2 points or more of their own to get themselves off of this match point scenario?
Dates now at 45 assists. She's hoping the 46 to tie her career record will be the game winner.
Speaking of career record, Keely Campuzano has broken hers at 21 kills, as Micah mentioned earlier on.
And it is she with the ball in her hands. But that is a huge let-off for the Jumbos. And a huge mistake from Campuzano, the sophomore.
And for all Campuzano has been doing well tonight, she does have 5 errors from the service line. A number that she will not like to see when she looks at the stat sheet.
What Jumbos will like to see is Claire Castor behind the service line. It's on her shoulders to keep this season alive. Baker to Dates. Obi blocked by Apiibe. Woolwind. Fricky blocked again. Sent over by Woolwind. Clark. Heckman. Out! And Williams have progressed. 3-2 by the narrowest of margins. Quite literally inches decide this matchup. The 6th seed Williams Eves upset the 3 seed Tufts Jumbos.
And we said in NESCAC play, we rarely ever see all the favorites win. And in this case, the Eves pull off the upset here in Cousins. Yet again, like they did last year, losing the regular season, but taking out the Jumbos in the playoffs. Really unfortunate loss here for the Jumbos as they are let down by an attack error, which has been their real kryptonite this season.
As for the Eves, they progress to hopefully challenge for their 2nd straight NESCAC final, and hopefully for them getting an NCAA bid. It will be a tall order, but they have shown some real quality tonight.
Speaking of a tall order, they are taking on the Colby Mules in Waterville, Maine next weekend. Should be quite the matchup. It did go, I believe, to 5 sets earlier when they met up this season, so could be another barn burner of a match.
On behalf of all of our crew tonight, I would like to say thank you for tuning in. Jake Flossie and Sebastian Gold next to me, Sophia Kahn directing, Eva Tootin and Riley Daniel on camera. I've been Micah Baum. As always, thank you all for tuning in, and stay home safely.
Hypnotic. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical.